I'm sorry.
Oi, oi. Right, with British Martinliedtke speaking. Welcome, people. On a Tuesday, we're going to have another fantastic show. As you can see, I've got my guest, who is Ross.
Closer.
From Britain's Hidden Histories. Thank you for popping by, Ross. This is going to be fantastic. I'm very excited to see you again.
It's an honor and a privilege, Martin. Thank you. I'm with a true YouTube legend.
So they say.
Very happy about it.
Yeah, I know. 2 Welsh historians in one area. What are the chances?
That is all of them.
I know. People are on about my Doctor Who thing in my thumbnail, my Daleks. I met a Dalek once. I got a video, actually. I could have shown. I was working in B&Q. A Dalek, like, literally rolled past me, and I got talking to him. I said, "What's it like?" And he said, "I'm dying for a cigarette." So, he said, "Yes, boil or not." Totally shattered my illusions of exterminate. Totally shattered things.
Can you put like a cigarette on the end of one of them things that stick out? Just put one in there, like, you know, with a little tube on it.
I've seen a photograph of one of them, a Cyberman, having a cigarette. Yeah.
Well, I saw them once because it was on one of my videos. We went to Nash Point and there's Kerry Longsword's grave and everything there.
You're not going to believe this. The next video that I'm going to share is of Nash Point. When I give you a show in a minute, you're going to be mind blown by what I got to show you. What we found only last summer. It was like, this is a building, this is a fort. And, you know, when you showed this map last program with the forts all along the South Wales coast, you're like, that was right there. So it was just amazing. So, yeah, thanks. I'm really excited about this. This is my friend. Yo, Martin. Yo, all of you. Thanks for popping by on an epic Tuesday night. We're going to have some fun tonight. And Ross is going to play us a song.
I got my nerves out of it now. You get big crowds on your channel, like after my nerves, you know, being bits.
No, man. I was the worst guitarist in the world. It doesn't even matter. No offense to my guitarists.
No, I claim that worst title, all right? I'm not having that.
No, man.
Yeah, it's all good to go. Yeah, new words for the song. Yes, it's all set.
Protestage. Love it, love it, love it. So, yeah, it's I just want to say before we start, like, about all the epic weirdness that is going on, and for people not to let their vibration be, you know, affected in any way. You know, this weirdness. I don't watch telly, so it just bounces off me. And I've had some strange folk today. You know, them, in my face acting weird. But it's just, it really does not concern me or bother me. Okay, so I suggest you shouldn't either. It's predictive programming. We know that they're going to come out with a moronic. We know what is going to happen. We know which way this is going. And this is the important crossroads right here, right now, guys. Dystopia forever for our children, our children's children, or freedom for all. All that needs to be done is every town, village, and city in the world peacefully and calmly hit the streets and say, no more. We do not consent. We didn't sign up for this. We're not having it anymore. They got to go. And then the world changes for a new golden era, which everybody deserves, by the way. Yeah, equal opportunity for everybody coming. That is what needs to be happening. Yeah, nobody's going to be able to live in that. Knock at the door, disappeared, bye. Do you want to live in that fear? It's not good, guys. So YouTube don't kick me off forever.
Yeah, well, I 100% endorse that message. Yes.
Yeah, because it is an important time. You know, I was. I saw sometimes, Ross. I used to go to these protests and hit the microphone and stuff, and I sort of rehearsed what I would say to the people if I had a giant crowd, for example. And I rehearsed this, and I thought, yeah, they're the words that would make that happen. You know, I could literally make this happen, where everyone would go, yeah, freedom is promised, freedom awaits us all. Yeah, no more taxes, no more slavery. We can all get by without that. And some crazy institutions and monarchies just ruling over us. Why have we got to live like that? All of that was not like it before. We never had none of this before.
No.
Yeah, no. You said it, I think, on one of your last vlogs that we didn't have these kingships and that. You know, golden era, self-governing duchies. Nobody needed to worry about crime or dodginess and all of that programming they've given everyone. Such a sad time for people at the moment.
Well, I think it's changed dramatically in the last 5 or 6 years. It's incredible. That's what I was going to talk about hopefully later in the show at some point. I was with spent all day with the Druid yesterday. Fantastic. He just lives in a little well, as a hovel, really. But it shows you lifestyle, you know. And he has no TV or anything. And he was telling me about the effects and how it affects you in other ways and all that kind of. But the other thing, the one thing he did enjoy, is one little bit of the outside world, was the Guardian newspaper. And even this bloke, he said about 2016, he said something changed, and he couldn't even read that newspaper. It just became a propaganda rag and pointless to read it, you know. And there's nothing left that you can consume in the mainstream. It's bizarre.
Well, he knows, but yeah. So this guy sounds really interesting. So what have you been up to this week? I heard you tried your hand at dowsing. Is this correct?
Yeah, I did put a little video.
No, I know it's real. I tried it, and it's real, all right.
Well, yeah, I understand it was real. You see on the little video, and I talk a bit more on this channel I would normally, because what you'll see is my channel on the thing underneath me. Look, hang on, that way.
Yeah.
There we are. Britain's Hidden History, Ross. Yeah. Look at that. Looks cool. We've done that.
Yeah, it does.
And it's the dowsing I get, right? And I had a little bit of dowsing before, only a tiny bit up in Gwynedd, and we're looking at energy lines and water. And I used to know a farmer.
Ley lines, yeah.
Yeah, leys, sorry, yeah. And a farmer who could just use twigs to find water for his livestock. All that made sense, right? And I got a surveyor friend of mine who years and years, and he does dowsing all the time. And he gave me this Bob Morgan you see in my team, and he gives a wonderful example and a story about it, where he lives in his parents had an old house, and in the garden they discovered some old walls underneath the ground, which they thought might be Roman or medieval. And the archaeologists wanted to come in and have a look. And he did his challenge. His brother was very, very cynical, and he was into the dowsing. So both of them separately doused to see where the ancient walls were under his garden. And then when the surveyors came in, geophys and all that kind of stuff, they compared the maps, spot on. So there's a kind of a bit of a logic about leys and water and walls. But what freaked me out a bit is all the other things you can do, and also you'll see on a little video there is my logical scientific mind, right, is trying to go, okay, well, how does this work? Was there
picking up the electromagnetic torus field,
something like that, right? All those things it could be, right? But how is it when you'll see on the video, I've got the thing, I'm not moving at all. I'm over the water. Show me the water, and it crosses over. Then I say, show me not water, and it goes back again.
Wow.
Now, how does that happen? That's weird. And one thing I'll tell you now, which I haven't mentioned on the other thing, I might mention it late in the chat at some point, was we're on a burial mound, and what they do is a lot of what do you call it? Psychic archaeology, really. I got psychic people I work with, and I keep all that kind of in the background. And I've always been pretty skeptical, but in the end, I had to give it a go myself. And we're at a burial mound, and we're looking for an altar, okay? So the guy's going, oh, yeah. So I'm going to go at this. So I stood there, and this is the bit that really did me then. I said, show me the altar. And I walk forward, boom, right on the spot, it's crossed over, okay? And you think, well, that could be anything, right? Why is it crossed over? So what I didn't move at all. I'm being a little bit naughty. I said, show me an ancient rugby pitch, right? And it didn't straighten like that. It went, wham. The guy next to me was just like, wow, what happened there? You know, because it didn't just straighten out. It was like, don't take the piss. Don't ask a stupid question.
Yeah.
Like, can I see an ancient rugby field? It went like that. And I was a bit, whoa. And I've been doing quite a lot of different things since then. So you can really go all the way with that dowsing, you know, finding ancient things, underground stuff.
I think it's a big clue to how this reality works and our interaction with reality. You know, I definitely think we are the manifestors of our own realms. Yeah, I definitely think this is the case, and that would make sense if it's picking up the geometrics or the fundamentals of this place, the electromagnetics of a wall because of its mass, a stream because that would be running like in the inside of a copper pipe, creating a charge. Yeah, Earth takes it away, so that sort of makes sense. So
another one, we're up the hill, we're up Llanthony because there's an old story, an old legend that Jesus built an altar there. And then St. David came along, and he was.
I've been on it. It's all smoothed from knees. Is that the altar?
Well, if it is, you can tell me where it is because we're trying to find it.
Oh, right. This altar in St. David's was absolutely mad.
No, this is Llanthony Abbey up in near Hereford.
Yeah, I know Llantoni Abbey. Oh, yeah, so past Crickhowell. I know Llantoni. I used to go there every year, pony tracking with my high school. I'm not even joking. Every single year in the Half Moon Hotel.
Yeah. Up there, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know
I don't know if this is the altar
well.
that Jesus built because no one's known where that is for a long time. There's an altar buried somewhere that Jesus built.
Always felt weird there.
And then David's supposed to want to move it before he slept on the idea. He thought, no, I can't move it. It was built by Jesus, and he's covered it by a lead sheet. And we're up there. We've got a pretty good idea where you think it is, okay? Now, up behind the abbey, there's loads. You won't even notice it. See, you'll notice if you look for it. You can walk around without seeing them. There are other burial mounds. I mean, you think how long that abbey was there and how many people lived there and died there.
Massive.
Yeah, so one of the burial mounds we get on, and then there's an altar there. We don't think that's the Jesus altar, but there's an altar. And it was just bizarre, right? So got the things, and they like this, obviously. I want to hold them up so people can see. So he said, show me an altar. Boom, right? Okay, right. Show me a wooden altar. Nope. Show me a stone altar. Nope. Show me a metal altar. Boom, straight across. It's just amazing, really. I mean, I just know that when he gets to that kind of thing, when it's answering questions. Oh, well, I was going to say, yeah, we're up on the hills. There's loads of woods and everything around there. We got all the way up there, right, and being dozy. We'd forgotten the dowsing rods, right? One of the main reasons for going up there, we're tracing the sources of all the streams because it's holy water, and water's very important in the old history with burials and stuff. So Gav, one of our gang, he's so fit, he ran back down to the abbey and ran back up again. But we changed directions. We were going to go one way, and we went the other way. And we suddenly realized, how was he going to find us? So he'd gone off completely the wrong direction. And he said, it's not a problem. He said, because I suddenly remembered, I got the dowsing rods. So he's got a little dog called Fern. And he went, show me Fern and my friends. And the rods turned like that. And he just followed the dowsing rods and found us in the wood. So it's just... They
guide you like it's got, some sort of like helper that comes along with it.
Yeah. I got to try some experiments in the garden because you're saying you can get my boys to hide things and then you go and try and find them with your dowsing rods and stuff. And all these things you can do. Them.
Yeah.
Ask the rods to show me where they are. Yeah. So I don't know. It's my brain can't deal with this. But they've got 3 sons. They've got very different minds. And one of them, the oldest one's very analytical. He's very scientific, clever lad and everything. And he's like, how does it work? He's trying to think, always making it a bit like I am, right? Well, my other sons, who's really feels things very spiritually when we go to sacred places and stuff, his reaction, right, let me have a go. He just wants to do it. And that's kind of the attitude you have to have. You can't overthink it. You just got to know it works. It's a bit like if I show primitive man this light and I turn that switch and the light goes on and off, they think, how the heck does that happen, isn't it? So I guess it's the same in a way. It's like having an electric light and we don't know how it works, but you just have to accept it does. Because I don't know, I'm in trouble getting my mind is boggled, scrambled.
Might be something to do with our vibration, because we're holding it and resonating all the time, aren't we? It's got to be a certain type of wood, haven't it? Is it a hazel or is the best?
Well, I think people use a hazelnut, and also what's interesting is Bob from his old surveying job, because the water board use these things and the gas board and all that. If they've got a water link, they use dowsing rods.
That's crazy. This day and age.
They don't talk about it, but they all do it.
Yeah.
But when Bob used to work in the surveyor, they used to have a set, he says, beautiful set from, I think it was 1723, really, really old. And there's a wooden box, and you had 2 wooden handles, and there was sets of different metals, and apparently some are good for finding different things, like a steel set, copper, and aluminium, and all this. And you just drop them in the top, and they could, I don't know any of it. It all seems to work, is all I know.
Well, what it does tell us is we don't know everything. We don't know everything about reality. That's what it tells us.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to mention, it ties in with the Druid, because I went with him, and it's perfect timing. I got into dowsing last week, because yesterday was with the Druid. He's taking me up round Arthur's Rock up in Camlan. I was right up in North Wales. And we're all dowsing. He's like, if you douse, I can douse, I'm doing it for about 4 days,
What makes you a druid, though? Just say you are.
Yeah, I was going to ask him that, actually. Yeah, well, he's been doing it for decades. I don't know if he's got all the hair and beard and all that. I don't know if that's essential. I asked him.
I could be a druid if I want to be a druid then.
Yeah, I think you're halfway there. You got a big bushy beard already. That could be a bit difficult. I don't know.
Oh, no.
You're not really the beardy types. But what I was going to mention going back to what you were saying at the beginning of the show there about the TV and all that.
Yeah.
he made an interesting point because he was saying all this negative energy and everything comes off screens, particularly TV screens. And what was interesting, though, he wasn't so worried about the harm that does you, although that's bad. But he says your brain and your body forms a barrier to protect itself. And that's the problem, the barrier. Because the barrier blocks you from spirituality and stuff. And things like
so
dancing
weird.
and all this knowledge that you would have.
No, what's weird is my vlog for the weekend is concerning exactly that.
Oh, there we are then.
I've been writing and saving pictures for. I'm not even joking. That's so weird.
Oh, that's all the time at the moment, isn't it? The world's gone crazy. It's almost like I don't bother ringing people anymore. I just say, I speak to Tim, and then there's all the phone wait for it to ring. It's just gone weird. I
buzz to think, that this is humanity's moment. This is their moment to take it back, and just how everyone would feel when they're just out of this rigged game. Fair chance for everyone. It'd just be the most magical moment. Every single country out of it. No more.
Okay.
Okay. Wouldn't it be brilliant?
Yeah.
So this is that moment when that is the promise, or an eternal dystopia of hell.
Well, he also thinks that I'm not going to get into this subject because you will get this in trouble and maybe taken off or something.
If we keep laughing. The algorithm doesn't do laughter, right?
All right. Well, the old jabby thing is, he reckons the graphite and all that is all to do with blocking these kind of spiritual.
Very well might be. Very well might be. Definitely.
That's enough on that, I think. The bag is coming round, mate. It's not funny.
They're just not going away, are they? And it's all winding up again with all just craziness. So,
that freaked me out was when I was up visiting Wilson and Blackett. I think everyone knows them. If you don't, they've been these really persecuted writers. They write Welsh history mostly. And they've had nightmares, attempts on their life. They've been locked up. They've had MI5 on them, everything, right? And they love watching TV. I can't get them off the TV, and it's ruining them. But there you go. So there I was on a Sunday evening up their house. These two guys, right, persecuted blokes, anti the state and everything like that. They've been around. They had a firebomb in their house, the whole lot. What are we watching on the TV? V for Vendetta.
Oh no! The most Jesuit film ever made.
Yeah, I don't like horror films at all. I don't like watching anything naked. Naked. Where did that come from? I love watching.
There's no nudity in it, but it is pretty nasty.
Anything nasty,
Well, it's not nasty as such. There's a lot of violence in it.
But horror films and stuff. Well, that was a pretty scary film, isn't it? Especially in our line of work. And I'm sitting there, Wilson and Blackett. I'm thinking, this is God. It's just reality eating itself here.
You can't make this stuff up.
If I should film this, it's me with Alan, with Barham, watching V for Vendetta, watching people getting bagged up and taken off. I'm like, nah.
That's crazy. Still wide and mainstream, so dangerous. No. I used to literally sit that close away from the telly when I was a child.
Yeah, I used to love watching it. I like it. Yeah.
I was in it, and there's a big, massive telly, and I'm like literally in it.
Right? Yeah, that can't be good.
Yeah, they said the optician said that's what ruined my eyesight. They said you've been sitting too close to the television. I was like, well, maybe
a little bit,
just a little bit. Got square eyes. That's what they said.
There you go. I've done all my stuff now.
Right then.
I was listening to you for 2 hours now.
That's all right. I could wing it to eternity.
I'll just eat my mince pie. Happy Christmas, everyone.
Oh, he's got mince pie. 1984. Let's have a little couple of shouts.
I got the luxury ones with the brandy in them. These are great, I tell you. I should get the brand and advertise them because they're much better than the normal ones.
Don't talk to this lot of brandy. They'll be laughing now.
Where's the extra for the brandy mince pies, all right?
Pea and port brandy's nice. I used to literally work in a bakery that used to put port and brandy in the Christmas cake. Yes, you've noticed Stella Brooke, Martin Fat. Yeah, no, I haven't. I don't. I'm like the Queen Mother. Yeah, I do not fart. Okay, haven't got a bum. Simple. Is that nice?
Oh, thank you, Restoring Reality. There you are. It was always nice people again. It was so friendly and nice last time. Everyone's so lovely on here. Hello, Gary, as well. Gary lives near you.
Is that so?
Yeah, he's a Pentrabane boy, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not far away from Pentrabane. Not far through Birdie's Lane.
In the posh bits.
Yeah, in the posh bits. We used to fight Pentrabane when we were younger. See that scar on my head?
That for a Pentrabane boy. Hey, that
I said, don't throw that. He said, "Don't throw that brick at me." And as I stepped forward, he threw the brick at me, and it stuck in my head. And it was one of those ones off the railway siding, so it was pointy.
With a
And
big corners on
it
him, yeah.
literally stuck in my head. So I thought I was all right for a minute. I thought, oh yeah, I think I've survived
I'm
this one. And I went like that and hit it off, and the blood went. Psst, psst, psst. It's like, oh, I'm in serious trouble.
I'm going to die.
I'm going to die. I ended up in a house in Frank Row with a World War II nurse who gave me hot squash. I thought it was really weird, but it helped with the shock.
Okay. All right. Top to remember.
There you are. That's my experience with Pentrabane. So much love to you all. Anyway, right. So in my last vlog, or our last chat, we were talking about these forts. Now check this out, right? This was me and my friend Mel, who popped up this week, and we went to Nash Point. Right, I'll show you there. And check this out, right? This is supposed to be, mind you, this is really weird because when we went here, literally the cliff fell down like 3 days later. This one here.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning it. Yeah, it's very dangerous right there, isn't it?
You know, that's supposed to be a geological feature. We know what they're saying it is, but for some reason, a lot of it looks like coins. But when you get down on the surface, on the floor, you find this, which just is like tree trunks going through. So it's post holes, petrified.
Was actually on the beach, that bit, is it?
On the beach, yeah, post holes.
Well spotted.
Yeah, and they're right away in a line as well. So there was a structure, and this goes right out into the water. There's another.
It's probably been a harbour or something there. There must have been.
Well, we considered
what do you
that.
think it is? Okay, what do you think it is?
Let's see. Well, have a look at this a minute, because when you get down to the floor, it gets a bit different because it's this, and it's like, is this like? And then you get these striations. I'm like, well, okay. I'm trying to picture if a rocks come in with the tide, how can it cut these deep gorges this way and that way? You know, right angles.
Well, everything looks very neatly paved, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I've got some of them are coins. I'll show you now. It's hard to even believe.
Coins.
And then
what do you mean by that?
Well, I used to work in stonemason. I can dress stone.
You've got a lot of jobs, Martin, haven't you?
I've had more jobs than you can imagine. There's where the rocks all give away. And they were standing there,
Jesus.
my son and my friends, and I was like, get away, it's going to come down.
That would be worse than a brick from Pentrabane, that would.
Yeah. I didn't even feel it, to be honest with you.
You'd have felt that lot, though.
Painful experience at all. So, yeah, I can get that the tide dumps off these boulders and stuff, but some of these walls got like this going on. It's like right angles. That looks like two pavias, doesn't it? Does nature make right angles and look like a dressed stone? Does nature do that?
Well, it's definitely a wall, isn't it?
It's definitely a wall, yeah. Look, it's dressed stone.
How could that not be a wall? I mean...
Well, yeah, it's a wall. And it goes right the way out into the beach. And this is like, it looks like a giant building's floor. And it really, really does as well. And then you get all of these stones just like with sort of right angles. Like this looks to me like a stone I could use in a wall. Okay. If I was like looking in a pile of stone, I would choose that stone because it's nice to hit off a bit there. It looks a bit dressed. This stone, which looks like it's been dressed, looks like bits of buildings. And that looks like an old wall. It's just been smashed by the tide.
Because some bits, I mean, up on the other side, the cliff sort of behind the camera, I think, as we're looking.
Yeah,
is where the old castle was, and as that cliff crumbles away, bits of castle come down. But this is too far away. This is in the water. This looks like a separate structure or something, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, this sort of floor thing changes,
doesn't it?
Yeah, it changes up by then. It goes rocky like an actual beach and thing. It's just like in one part where you get this giant platform, if you like. Yeah, and it's raised on the sides of the platform by this wall, right the way down. And you got the pebbles all like washed in, but it's all covered with like what looks like smashed buildings and dressed stone. I can appreciate the tide bashes in, and I can see, but
I'll go a proper look down there next time I go.
Yeah.
So I usually avoid it.
Do you think nature does that?
No, it looks like it's been cemented as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely cemented. So yeah, that's how. And also in Porthcawl as well, we found just down the coast there was looked like rooms. Look at this. Does nature do right angles? I don't think so. Oh, Mercy the dog. Oh, and below this.
Your dog, is it? I'm sorry to hear that. The dog's gone, is it?
Last year. Sorry, sir.
That's the problem with pets, isn't it?
was not me, it's my friends, but I did live there. See,
Yeah, he's still missing, isn't he?
Yeah, so much.
So what are you saying about the cliff then? You're showing, apart from your nice shiny shoes there, what's this then?
Well, some sort of strange striations that something's rubbed over the stone here and here.
I can see what you mean, yeah.
Like some sort of machinery. I can't imagine it. I can appreciate stones drag, but you know, they're not going to do these.
But they've all ended up in line as well, haven't they?
Yeah, perfect line. Perfect line. These things, yeah. Well, yeah, we appreciate natural geology, okay, and what they say, and the lengths of time that they say these things are happening. But I really don't think so. I think that some of these things are ancient, massive structures, and we're seeing just them like forts, giant castles and stuff. Look at this up here. You know, it looks like blockwork. You know, even the interior of blockwork maybe, and it was all covered over. You know,
yeah, like, no, you said it. It does because if you still in that picture a minute, right on the right hand edge, you can see a bit more natural looking cliff, and he looks different, doesn't it? As you go to the far right, so off around the corner a bit, it sort of starts breaking up a bit. It hasn't got this nice, neat thing we got at the bottom here, is it?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I like to look further down, you know, a couple of miles either way, and see if this looks like a structure of the whole cliff.
Yeah.
You got me thinking. No, I haven't really looked at that before. It does look really neat.
Well, when you get down by here as well, you know, we took photographs of some of the stones, and it was like, you know, it looked like a DPC, like a damp course with like, you know, there was even perps, and you know, the perpendiculars were like none of them were, you know, lined up, so it was like what, damp proofing. There we are, standing under that, and it could have gone any time.
Yeah, that's why I avoid the cliffs. I don't really come down this end.
Yeah, that's just really, I would never do that. It's dangerous as anything. Oh, I found a fossil. Yeah, I do love my fossils. Oh,
have you got any theories about fossils then?
Sorry?
I thought you might have a theory about fossils.
Yeah, there was some sort of moment when, you know, like when you get all of these mammoths that were found in the tundra with, you know, vegetation in their mouth.
Siberia,
yeah, so all of them died in an instant. So I feel that something like a comet, what they call an asteroid, came in close, like real close, agitating the EM and causing plasma discharge events, incredible arcing events. I think partly what happened to the classical world, what took it out. And it's what it's in the Iliad, what Homer talks about happening. He said that Venus came so close to Earth, it rained petrol and ignited. Look at this. You're telling me that's natural? Geology, man, is just like, wow.
Well, now you said it. No, it don't look natural at all, does it?
No, does it? It's out. It's like the paler bit on the outside. So it's really crazy. Really crazy.
Yeah, and the brown discoloring looks like it's been pointed or something, doesn't it? It's bizarre.
Yeah. So I definitely think you're onto something. I definitely think the South Wales coast has more to offer. Let me just show you this as well. You know where you were on about the origins of Britain? I was listening to this till 2:30 last night. I won't lie, I couldn't read it. My eyes were gone, so I had it on audio play.
Oh, they're so lovely, those readers, aren't they? Yeah.
Oh, I went through about 70 pages last night. I didn't want it to end, but I was falling asleep, so I'll get back into it tonight. It's mind-blowing, this book, okay? And it's this guy, right? He wrote it in 1919, just after the First World War, and he literally calls out the next 50 years like you wouldn't even imagine. I'm like, how does he even know this? He gets a lot wrong, don't get me wrong, but he talks about later on the fate of nations and the British Empire, and he talks about the British origins. It says over here, in the accounts, we briefly informed that the southwestern coasts were known to the Phoenicians for some centuries before the Christian era, and that they were attached to Britain on account of its mines of tin. So they came here for the tin. So that's where they say you get the name Britain, bright tin, Britain, the tin mine.
He's mentioned Phoenix as well. I was just going to say
Well, that's where they got their name, but that gives you a suggestion of rising from the ashes, the phoenix, the flames, the plasma. You know, it's sort of when the curtain comes down and it's the end of the stage set. You know, a true prophet is someone who calls the next scene before it happens. Yeah, who knows the next scene. So history tells us the Phoenicians were a Semitic origin closely related to the Hebrews in language. Now, isn't that very interesting? So how can Semitic origin be closely related to the Hebrews in the first instance.
Well, I thought the British are Semitic as well. I would say. I was the.
Well, this is suggesting that everyone spoke Welsh in Britain at some stage. Basically,
Well, I thought so. I mean, see, my idea about what they spoke in England was that if you look at the 380s, there's an invasion of Brittany and the Breton language, as we call it.
Indeed.
And I think the Druid I was with are saying that army mostly came from Gwynedd. But the accounts I've read, I thought most of it would have come from England.
Oh.
And the story is I think it's apocryphal, that they cut out the tongues of all the women they married because they didn't go back. You see, they stayed there, married locals. Cut out their tongues, but I think it's a way of saying they stopped their local language being passed on. So their children could only speak what I would assume would be a British language, which is now what's called Breton. So I would imagine that would be Breton, would be very close to what they spoke in England. But I mean, it's a bit of a guess. But either way, there's no reason why it wouldn't be a Middle Eastern language, because all the migrations say they went from there, isn't it? Trojans,
exactly.
Sumerians, Babylonians, they're all very similar languages.
Yeah, Indus Valley Civilization, the Hittites.
This is where the Tower of Babel comes into it, isn't it? Or Babel.
Well,
where the language divides and they start speaking differently.
Yeah, no, I think that's the key. Somebody asked me in my comments, actually a troll, yesterday, but an interesting question was, he said that all over TikTok, like I care about TikTok, but it's saying, people are saying now, it's the new narrative that Rome was not real. But
really?
That's
my theory. It can't be on TikTok. What's going on?
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So, they're just basically, they go, once these narratives are out, Ross, they got to try and lead the narrative. Well, it's out of the bag.
Right. They're running with it now. Okay.
Yeah, so they're running with it. Okay. So what I found is, Rome was a real thing, but they were not that important. Not that important. Okay. It states here that the Phoenicians, they were famous mariners. They came up the Thames and founded the city of El-on-Don. Okay, the city of the sun.
Oh, that's first time I've seen that.
Yeah, and the Romans came sometime later. Okay, the Romans arrived in Britain around 55 BC, whatever. They found Rome a place of considerable importance and that they had gold coinage. So dig that the Phoenicians were already settled and built a structure and a society, the classical world, way before the Romans ever turned up.
Well, yeah, it shows the Romans didn't build London, doesn't it?
Yeah, the interest in this, though, Ross, is because they attribute basically the Stonehenge as an astronomical clock or a mysterious monument of Stonehenge, falsely attributed to the Druids. They say it was built by the Phoenicians as a zodiac. So it's really incredible, this book. They tell you, not that I go with astrology, but they state that astrology is as old as religion itself, and they go by it. Okay, and it states in here that Britain is Gemini, and London is in the house of Mars, and also Germany is Gemini in the house of Mars. And they said there's a very close connection. We should have been best friends. And they said we would never be able to have any friendship or trust in the future or at any time in our history with France, because they are not in the same house. And it was really interesting. I was listening to it on the edge of my seat last night. I was like, this is making a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and it goes into the Babylonian, the Phoenician Babylonian cult of Isis.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Denville, the Druid, yesterday was extremely adamant that the Druids, we built Stonehenge, as he said.
Well, Stonehenge as it is, the one has been proved as being a fake. Actually, it was built as
it's been moved around, hasn't
it? Yeah. Not only that, it's lost its UNESCO. They built a tunnel underneath it now. So it's like, back in my day when I used to camp there and stuff, and do the Glastonbury thing.
Just wander up, couldn't you?
Just wandered up off that road to jump the little fence.
It's like lying on the sacrifice stone in the middle and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Same, mate. Same. But yeah, I got dangerous in the end going to all the Hells Angels and stuff back in the day. It was dangerous, Stonehenge. Easy.
Really?
Yeah, the last one I went to, basically, an army turned up. I got it on my Flat Earth British think tank channel. It was on the news. A news team was there, caught there. An army turned up, marched across in a line, like a front line, and just smashed up all the travellers' houses there.
Oh, I know about that. Yeah. So I'm with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was there that day.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that was Stonehenge because they did it at Glastonbury as well, didn't they?
Well, they all went to
There's
Glastonbury.
the
Let them in.
Battle
I
of
believe
something
this.
field, wasn't it? When they trapped all the travellers and disabled the cars, and they went and smashed everyone up.
Worst thing ever. They were just people, with their
Yeah.
kids crying, and they were getting hit by people. Of course,
Yeah, and they've been following that, like because the travellers have an interesting thing where they do follow a kind of zodiac route throughout the year, don't they? They have a regular loop, and there's certain places that need to be on certain days, and it's all astronomical.
I hung around with a lot of
around
them,
looking for a field,
Yeah, I hung around with a lot of them, but I lost sort of respect for them and that because basically they don't really contribute anything, and they just take is what they do.
Yep.
Yeah, the great unwashed. All right, get it. They got to get
go on with their lives, don't they?
Bums and drug dealers. They were.
But in the British, if you look at the British historical records, it's oh gosh, I'm not sure which writer it is now. I think it might be Jeff or Griffith ap Arthur, who they call Geoffrey of Monmouth. And they were saying there that and it's a theory that also Alan Wilson likes, that the Stonehenge was moved, and one of the reasons was because the returning comet, and they observed it but recently, like 400 AD, 400 odd, and they're expecting this comet to come back and smash up the country. This is the obsession with the dragon and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they moved Stonehenge to where it'd be a better observation point to watch for the forthcoming thing, and that'll be about the 470s.
Yeah, there's another barrow nearby, isn't there, which they said could have been the site for it. It's not that far away.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, near.
I've been Robin Heath up to Preseli Mountains because he's, there's a big BBC thing on about 6-7 months ago saying, "Oh, we just found where the stones came from, the original Stonehenge." Well, Robin Heath is doing that, 20, 30 years ago. He's got videos on YouTube about it. It's ridiculous.
Can you see a quarry there or what have you?
Yeah, well, it wasn't. Well, they actually laid it out. It seems like what they did. They had a trial run to make sure all the pieces fit. It's no good dragging them 200 miles. You get
it's only the Saracen stones.
That bit doesn't fit,
Yeah, it's only the Saracen stones. It's not all of the stones.
Yeah, it's the blue ones, isn't it? The inner ring. It was all laid out there first for some reason. I don't know why they moved it. I mean, they say the British records say they moved it because of observation reasons.
When I was a child, they tried to bring them up the Bristol Channel. It was on the news. Can you remember that, Ross?
I've read about it since. Because the guy who did it something. Well, he's a right idiot, though, he? Because he made a rubbish boat. The boat turned over, and they said it was impossible. No, you made a rubbish boat, mate. It's.
Check this out, right?
Yeah,
I came up the Usk once when I was in the Merchant Navy. I was on a little coaster years ago when I was in the Merch, and we was docked in the centre of Newport in the mud. Yeah,
fantastic.
And when I did go out, it would list and all of that. Like literally 2 years later, on the same berth, we were resting on top of that medieval ship that they found in Newport, one of the greatest maritime finds in British history.
Wow, fantastic!
Yeah, we were on top of it. Yeah, so like that was the same berth. I'm like, what? I just knew instantly that we were on top of it. It's like
the boat they're desperately trying to show is not Welsh, aren't they? Trying always. You went through every nationality in the world will actually say, it's actually a Welsh ship. They can't.
They tried to say it was from the Mediterranean, though, because they found some olive
Egyptian, oil. All sorts of things. They can't just think, oh, isn't it great we found a Welsh ship? It's just not possible. I mean, what would an island like Britain surrounded by water have to do with boats,
Yeah.
It's a daft idea, isn't it? But then, because one of the great things about the Severn there is one of the reasons it was so successful. I mean, it's the major river way before the Thames was.
I know.
Is one of the great things about it, of course, is the muddy bottom. So literally, what you did, for your Navy days, all those, particularly the old wooden ships, if the tide went out and they hit a stone base, they could crack and break and all sorts of damage.
Yeah.
Whereas the Severn goes out, they all sit nicely in the mud, and you can more or less walk ashore as long as you don't,
Yeah, same in the Thames as well. Quicksand. Used to be, we used to come right up to Woolwich. I used to go, take stone to, basically Greenwich, Lovell's Wharf. And, we just sink in the soft mud. But, we just be like this.
Really?
Really disorientated. Yeah, I've steered through, the Thames Barrage myself, like, loads of times. And all you got to think is, don't hit it. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Don't hit it.
No, you really don't want to do that, no.
I've steered through some of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. Coming out.
Well, you're actually steering as well, were you?
Well, I had my helmsman's ticket. And when I was training, they trained me in like the busiest shipping lane in the world, coming out of Antwerp. And I had literally like 100,000 ton tankers coming towards me. Yeah. And like obviously everything's opposite in it, port and starboard. But you know, if you want to go left, you got to steer right. And it's the complete opposite to a car. Yeah, for it to answer. And sometimes it don't answer, so you got to do it twice. You know, the rudder doesn't answer, nothing's happened, and you're going towards the ship. It's like, honestly, it's like, boom, boom, kill us all now.
Yeah, dead on. Yeah, well, yeah, good. Oh, that's a useful skill to know, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it might come in handy one day. Might come in handy one day if we need an ark and we're going to get out of here.
We all pile onto our flat earther's boat and sail off to wherever.
Well, they say no one gets out alive, but you know, we'll see about that.
We need a boat, mate. We need to grab a boat.
Things change. We need an ark. An ark like the ark.
An ark. That's what we need.
I went to Cardiff Park yesterday with my friend, or day before, called Victoria Park, and I told her the story of Sally the seal escaping in a flood.
Oh yeah.
The Cardiff whale, Frank Hennessy.
Yeah, the Greenstone whale, wasn't it?
Greenstone whale, yeah.
The mighty Greenstone whale, Frank Hennessy, yeah. But they did have the real seal, didn't they? Yeah, he was a real character.
Yeah. Before my time, obviously, they got a statue of him there now. But, you know, great bit of Cardiff history. So, yeah, I'm going to give these people some eye candy, okay, to Ugo.
Oh, yeah, I can't see the comments. I just realised I got on full screen. I'm missing all the comments. Oh, the comments are always so cool.
Well, we can answer a few questions. Let's have a look what the commenters are saying anyway.
Come on, I'm up for some questions.
All right. The revolution. See, Ellie knows. Well, revolution is actually their one of their things. If you look in the Illuminati handbook, along with protest, revolution means...
Is that a revelation, though?
Well, no, it means out with the old boss, in with the new boss. Think who tell us in Won't Get Fooled Again. All of that structure and hierarchy obviously has to go. Otherwise, this is just going to carry on forever. Gaslit forever. Stella, good to see you. King Snurgogurson is an actual Viking king, Ross.
Well, it'd be a pleasure to meet him.
I get the president of Finland in you too.
Well, I got President Trump watching my programs every week, so there I'll beat that.
You know, Professor Hawis, the Egyptology guy, Professor Hawis.
Really? Oh gosh, okay.
He complains about Flat Earth British. He complains about my series. He's not happy at all. So I don't really agree with what he's saying about, the Pyramid of Giza, basically.
Well, I think he was going round there and forcing him to sit in front of the channel hour after hour and watch it. It was probably a bit unfair, Martin. You should have done that, really, isn't it? Tying people to their chairs and making them watch the channel is really out of order.
I don't do that.
You will watch it. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? He objects to it. Well, don't watch it then, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Just curious, aren't you? See what real truth looks like.
Oh, well, came to have a look at my boss. Send him a free copy of my book about reading hieroglyphics.
Yeah, do that. But definitely link that up as well if you can. If you're in my chat, I can actually make you moderator.
That's all right. No, I guess way too complicated. It's fine. You can find it. Just look for hieroglyphics.
I've got an army of moderators. This is why I don't get too much trolls. They just.
I'm the opposite of what you know. A control freak. I'm like the opposite. I'm like a dispersal freak guy. I'm like,
Nah, they just can't stomach what will come. So what's about Valley up, love? That's from the Midlands. That's an up duck.
I used to live in Derbyshire when I was a little lad. I could speak fluent Derbyshire.
What? Have you been to Matlock?
Matlock, I lived not far from there, mate. I lived in Clay Cross, Morton. Just up road from Matlock. My dad used to go there because it's the only proper hill in Derbyshire. He used to like going up and down it because he missed the valleys.
On the Derwent.
Just up and down the flicking Matlock Hill.
Wow. Yeah, it is a big hill. Yeah, I do remember that much.
Yeah, my dad missed the valleys, so he was homesick. Every weekend, just about, and every holiday, we were back in Wales anyway. So I spent a lot of my childhood in the back of a car.
You missed the valleys? No, not what was terrible.
My dad just couldn't be away at all. He just couldn't do it. All his free time doing job applications to come back to Wales, I think. So we're only there a few years.
I sort of dig that in a way. I used to get homesick years ago for Wales. The smell of Cardiff Station when you get off the train in the brewery, the hops hit you in the nose.
Yeah. Stale hops and fags. You can't beat it.
Stale hops and fags.
It's home. It's home.
It's home. It stinks. It's home. So if anyone got any questions, I've got some more stuff to show you. I'm going to show basically Ross some cool stuff. Now, see what he thinks of this. Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not going to go too deep.
I know,
Okay.
sorry.
I'm not going to spat your brain. I've got like my one file. It's just like thousands, 3,500 mind-blowing images, but I don't think that we're going through that.
3,500. It's 9 o'clock kickoff.
I know.
5
Right.
seconds each. Well, 2 in the morning, I reckon.
I know.
Right,
Anyway,
5 hours
at least we're back. At least we're back. I'm sorry about last week, but like I said, I was.
That's all right. No, you had your friends. And I was up and down hills all the time. I was pretty tired anyway, so don't worry.
Well, we went walking and stuff. We usually go like little history hunts and stuff. Come up with some theories and things. This is just an interesting book. I'm going to link up if you want to catch it later.
Yeah, what's the story of Glamorgan? Oh, CJ Evans. I think I've got that.
Have you got it?
Yeah,
oh, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I love it what they say here about Glamorgan, and they talk about its climate, and they were exactly on.
I can actually find it as well. There we are. I got the original.
No.
Yeah, I got an original copy here, look, from an old stamped with a school. They used to teach this stuff in schools, look.
Wow.
You see there's the stamps from the school. We used to teach this in schools. Why do they stop teaching all these things?
I don't know. They tell you everything about Ely and you know what. It's so interesting. It tells you about like South Glamorgan is exactly halfway between the North Pole and the equator. So, you know,
I missed that bit. I don't tend to read much about the geography.
I thought that was interesting. So why are we so warm?
Yes.
You know, latitude wise are the same as New York, but they get freezing cold winters, but they haven't got the Gulf Stream. So the Gulf Stream keeps us nice and toasty here. Yeah, why we get nice and warm. Right, let's show you some of the stuff that we look into. Right now, this guy came out yesterday or the day before I subbed to him. I'm going to give him a little shout. So 600 subs. University of Light. And what he's doing is he's colorizing some of these old movies like the Tartarian, World Exposition movies, but they are fantastic. And he did one, but unfortunately, it's not there anymore. But I have got it on my friend's channel. I'll just show you. Have you seen this, Ross? Now, this is the whole thing in my field, Ross, right? Is we think that the world that went before us was a much better world than it is now. The streets of America, they're all like locked on weird drugs, and you know, you've seen the state of the place, haven't you? And homeless people everywhere. But in the past, everybody was immaculately dressed, and around the turn of the century, this is how you get around in Germany: the electric sky train. Seen this before?
Fantastic, isn't it? Oh, I can see it now, right?
Oh yeah. So that's how they were getting around in the past. This has been colorized only this week, and it's a valuable bit of film because it shows us the effort that they would go to in construction. How is this construction type done? Because everything is on horse and cart. This is the thing, see, they can do electric trams. You won't find any cars in this period. Yeah. So everything's, you know, horse and carted there. Giant, you know.
Well, I think they did have electric cars like 100 years ago, didn't they? In the 1920s.
They started electric and compressed air before the old JP Morgan scammage, but they initially.
Another good Welsh boy.
Yeah, JP Morgan. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, another Welsh boy done well. The Morgans, man, they're a bunch of pirates.
Where was he from, JP Morgan? He's not one of ours, is he? He's not from Cardiff, is he?
Well, I don't know exactly where he's from. He's a Welsh boy, isn't he?
Oh.
His Welsh family and all that. Yeah,
yeah, of course, with the Morgans, isn't it?
John Pierpoint, I think his name was, wasn't it?
I don't know. I never even thought
he's the one who did the Titanic scam, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
He talked about crashing boats.
Yeah.
That's one they crashed, was the Titanic, wasn't it?
And you kill a couple of Astors while you're at it, get up the competition out there.
All helps, doesn't it? No, I mean, the crash before the journey. You know, the real Titanic didn't go across the Atlantic, did it? That's another story.
No, the Olympic, it had to be the Olympic.
Yeah, you know all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
This is beautiful, isn't it? Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just like, well, we're finding this for the whole world. It's like, you know, we look into the expositions, there's an idea and a theory that, you know, because of the lack of evidence of these things actually being constructed, that it might be an existence of an older world, and they're just lying to us with the evidence. But, you know, the classical world in my head is still there. You know, some of these buildings, you know, like the Bank of England, these Greco-Romano temple things, you know, every single city in the world has them, major city. But Look at the chaos of it all. I guess this is Paris. I see. Yeah,
Fantastic, isn't it? I love the fact there's no road markings and stuff, and people seem to manage without them.
There's no infrastructure even. You get piles of poo everywhere. The women got really long dresses, yet they're dragging it in mud. Nothing seems to make sense. Look at that. Look at that. The size of this civilization. This is the thing, right? And which we can't get over, right? Is the whole of Paris, or the center of Paris, gets bombarded in 1871 in what is called the Franco-Prussian War, okay, or the Communards War, where Paris is like obliterated in the center. Then all of a sudden it's back. At the same token, all of this world is supposed to be being built. Yeah, everything is just magically healed, but they don't give you the story or the narrative of how all of this was accomplished. They got the same story for San Francisco after the earthquake, 1906. And then by 9 years later, they built one of the biggest and best expositions in the world, the Pan-Pacific. Everyone is immaculately dressed, but they all got these black mourning suits. And we think, because everyone says mourning, what exactly are you mourning? Death of what? And they're all dressed in black, like you do in a funeral in this society. And the men all got hats. All of them got hats.
I noticed that, man. Throughout all cultures in history, everyone's always worn hats. It's a modern thing, no hats, isn't it?
I think
so
they
I
were protecting them.
I always wear a hat. As you know, I always have a hat within arm's reach.
Well, there's two. Yeah, okay. There's two types of men: them that do, and them that don't. I do. There you are. I got my hat
you
on.
do as well, do you? I don't wear hats indoors, obviously, because we're gentlemen and we take them off when we come indoors, don't we? But yeah,
look at that. We got the same hat.
Mine has to keep my head dry from all the mountains I walk up.
Yeah. Get off of my mountain. That's what you're gonna get. So there you are. You in the past, you get moving pavements in Paris. Look.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of this before. Amazing, isn't it? Not this particular film, but I've heard of those.
I went on just what reminds me of this. I went on a roundabout once in a playground, and do you know when you hang on to the outside of a roundabout to feel the centrifugal force? Yeah, and I was a skinny kid, and my foot slipped under, and I couldn't get it out.
Oh right, yeah. Are we doing hats for a bit? Are we okay? Go on.
Yeah, we're doing hats, happy hats, we call them. They make you happy when they're on. So, yeah, I had to, an old lady phoned a fire engine, and fire engine came, and it had a big.
Well, you were wedged in.
Yeah, wedged in right underneath the roundabout for hours before they actually got it off me with a giant spanner, which they couldn't undo, by the way. And then they lifted it all. No, I mean like 2 fire engines, half a dozen, like maybe 8 firemen, because it was really, really heavy. Lifted it off me. I had a couple of grazes on my ankle. I was absolutely fine that time. Yeah, not as bad as when I got my head caught in the railing. So, but don't talk about that.
No, yeah, no health and safety fund police in them days, was there?
No, we didn't have. When I was on the buildings, we didn't have actually any health and safety per se at all.
Yeah, it was carnage, mate. Wasn't it? People did die in droves on building sites.
They died in droves.
Yeah,
I was forever hurting myself. That's a fact.
Yeah, when I was in the Middle East, they were dying every day building the exhibition centres. It was terrible.
I was working on the Millennium Stadium, and that was deadly. Basically, they were at it. They were trying to get it finished. I was working on the roof, and they said, get it finished. We got the World Cup in a minute. So it was like, first it started with miss out every 3rd bolt, and then it was like, oh, miss out every 2nd bolt. It's like,
no.
You're going to have loud concerts in there with the bass will just rattle it off, and the roof will come down and kill everybody. I don't want to be attributed to that. But that's what they tried to do, yeah.
Well, I do remember that World Cup. It was like a building site. I mean, there was literally.
It was when the first game, Samoa. Yeah, you had these big.
I went to the first World Cup game. When you'd walk into the entrance, on either side was big piles of bricks and rubble and building materials and stuff. It wasn't cleared up at all in time for the World Cup, was it? From the station, all I walk up from the station, you can see building stuff everywhere.
No. I put my name down for the bungee jump off the biggest crane in Europe that turned up to put the roof on, or 2 cranes. But when I seen it, I was like, actually, I don't think I'll bother. It will break and I will slap the floor.
There we go. What's King Snurgle going to say? Look, Rome as we know it was much later. See, that's the flamenco line, isn't it? Which I kind of have a lot of time for. I kind of go with that.
Well, I seem to, I've posted a lot of evidence, or what I think is evidence from a load of these lead atlases, 1733, which sort of show you the classical world, the so-called Romans that we know of, Augustus, Caesar, Caligula, all of the rest, existing, just before the Renaissance periods in this millennium AD.
Well,
and I really think that.
Flamenco says Well, Flamenco
Sorry.
says there's lots of evidence in medieval times for Rome just being a little fishing village.
Mm.
And all the stuff we see there now, all these great, Colosseums and Parthenons and all this, they're all 1650s and stuff. They're all built in the Renaissance period. And that I can believe. That I really can believe.
I can see why they do it.
The Medicis would have forged a history.
Well,
it suited them.
Yeah. And the Italians want the narrative. So, Rome is boss. All roads lead to Rome. Rome is juicy. We did all the roads. No, they never. And all of the rest of it. Yeah. Because they don't want to attribute to the Phoenicians, who were basically in the Lebanon. It's like Lebanon in this world before Italy. No, I don't think so. Check this out on the side of a cathedral in New York.
Is that a bus stuck halfway up there?
Well, the whole cathedral has apocalyptic carvings, and it's like earthquakes, tsunamis, plagues.
That's a car, isn't it? Swinging from there.
Yeah, it's a bus falling off of a bridge, which looks a bit like the Bridge of Sighs in Venice.
The Rialto Bridge, yeah.
The Rialto, excuse me, yeah. It looks a bit like the Rialto. So, yeah, they have like all apocalyptic scenes on the side of this. The old one-eye thing going on. A bit of a Janus thing going on there. Is that two people?
I have no idea. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and look at this then. Son of the Lamb of God. What's this? Something's being delivered.
Hopefully it's a child being born. I'm going to give it the benefit.
Yeah, well, I think they're telling you the beast.
Not an adult face there.
No, that's not an adult face. This is the beast. Yeah, and the beast is now grown up, and the beast is now on us, and people are not really getting it just yet. They're not. I think they are, but they're like, "Whoa, what am I saying?" It's just like, when exactly is the penny going to drop? What is going on? That's what gets me. Some of the dozy conversations I've had to endure today with these people is just like, what? I just couldn't get my head around it. It's like, you're a special kind of stupid dude. It's like, I've had
Luckily, you're a particularly sympathetic and understanding person, Martin. And I'm sure you dealt with it with all tact and decorum.
I always do. I do it in a very relaxed and friendly nature, full of love intent. I'm not telling them off or anything. I'm just basically telling them how it is. They don't like it. They never did.
Well, tell me sorry, go back to that last picture again. What was the significance there?
This
with the horse. No, one more. Well, on that one. This
American Civil War.
Ah, okay. Photographs.
Significance? I don't know. But what I do is, because I got about 1 million photographs, is I think I download every single photograph, because I think, there's always something you can go back on, and I think
they'll disappear. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Good for doing it. Yeah, well, done.
You got these. I guess you could look at it as you've got this brick structure, and in the background you can see like a Greco-Romano temple. I'm thinking this is Atlanta. Yeah, this is Atlanta before it was destroyed in the American Civil War. But they've only got duck boards, and muddy roads, and they're supposed to be, building this civilization that got destroyed in the American Civil War, and then basically regained.
I can see your point. Yeah. No, this mud thing there's another one that's boggled my brain a bit, because I only came onto it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And of course, it's tied in with the flat Earth as well. Have you seen that? Like a series of videos is what goes. Someone sent it to me, and I'm like, oh god, it's like 9 hours or something. I'm like, how on earth am I going to watch this lot?
I don't watch
great. And one of my mates, like, when he sends me stuff, he nagged me. So as soon as it's you, I'll watch it. I'll just watch the first hour, and then it just ruined my life for like 2 or 3 days as I went through all 9 hours.
Yeah, let me show you some Mudflowed a minute. I'll get back to them in a minute.
Yeah, well, that was all to do. Have you seen that series? It's very good. It's got all about the.
No, I know everything about it, though, obviously.
The moon is like a snapshot of the Earth.
Yeah, no. All of this is 20. A lady brought this all out. I've been through all this before. This is all flat Earth stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure you're well ahead of it. I was wondering.
Well, yeah, because it was. If a tiny bit of proof could come forward, then I consider it. But then this is something that can never, ever be proved, which annoys me, because it's going to put people in a portal of somewhere where they will never get to a destination, aka waste their time. Plus, this being shouted by, sources that I don't know, and it's just, no, I'm not having any of it. And I won't either. No, I'm not. It's silly. We can't even prove it's a physical object. It's just, no.
Oh, the moon thing. Sorry, the moon wasn't a big part of it. I was just.
No. I'm just.
No, just not my thing. What it did show a lot of was this kind of thing about the old things that you've mentioned. Old photographs, no people on them, and then the mud coming in, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll give you some idea now. I've got so much.
Yeah. I know you're the man on this. So I'm very interested to learn about that.
Well,
Because it does seem bizarre, doesn't it? It don't seem to be. And I always look at gravestones and that, and before, well, you don't see many gravestones before the 1840s. We found one last week.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just don't. We found one last week, 1711, which is really, really rare, and that was in Llanthony. That was
in Llanthony.
Llanthony, yeah.
Yeah, I need to go there again, like soon. I absolutely love the Llanthony Valley. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Ever. Stunning, yeah.
And
you look so cool in your hat. I'm going to get one of my better hats out. I've got this old thing here.
Oh, I'm going to change hat then. Being as well.
No, it's not doing it. You're looking really cool with yours.
No, I'm going to. If we're having a happy hat session, I'm definitely.
No, I don't have a contest. Well, I'll have to go to the room and get some other hats out. No, I can't compete with that. Can I? That's ridiculous.
I'll give you an idea of.
The reason I wear thick leather hats, by the way, and I'd recommend it for everyone, if you are going to do, like I do, a lot of scrambling around hills and through woods and things, all those scratchy brambles and all that kind of stuff really hurt. And every now and again, like you might have seen me last week, my nose is still swollen here where a branch cracked me right on the nose. And I've had like a bulging nose. 20 years of rugby and being punched and headbutted and never broke my nose. And last week I thought I'd broken it from a stupid bramble. So I put my hat back on. I didn't have my hat on. So the hat is a little bit of protection when you're getting whacked by branches and things, and it keeps you dry. And also look.
This is why I always wear boots.
It's a terrible hat.
You look really cool. You look like a proper.
I want a hat like yours, though, man.
Dude.
I want an yeah, I know. Everything's it's like sort of. It's not like some Indiana Jones complex. It really is a practical thing to keep you dry and stop you getting whacked in the face.
I've actually been Indiana Jones in a fancy dress competition. Yeah, because I had the hat and I had a whip, so I thought.
Yeah, I've heard you got a few whips. That's part of your thing, like.
No, not my thing.
It's not late enough yet, but it's only 9:15. You can't go there. You just can't go there.
No, I'm a history addict. Yeah, I'm a history research addict. Is what I am. I'm a workaholic.
I can see that. I'm very impressed.
And
you do more reading than me, and I didn't think that was possible.
Well, I can speed read. If I'm on a certain like mode, I can just overlook. Page,
yeah, no, I do that. It's a crucial skill if you want to do a lot of research, isn't it?
Exactly. So
I mean, the Druid guy yesterday gave me 3 books actually, and they're all pretty big reads. No, just let everyone know. Since I haven't had a chance to even come out the bag yet.
Ooh, unboxing. Oh, can I show my unboxing? I just had this today, delivered from Arizona.
Oh, lovely! Look at that.
From Wizard Wraps and Minerals. Okay, we got a bit of.
It's a huge diamond. It's worth 5 million. No, so what is it?
Moldavite, which is that rare, can't get it anymore, meteor stuff. And Egyptian, basically Libyan fused glass. So Libyan glass, that's stuff that's fused in the Libyan desert, like you've got on Tutankhamun's thing, and spirus citrine. So yeah, he makes these things. And
wow, looks very cool.
It's a metaphysical booster. It is for spiritual protection, which I need in my game because I'm not everyone's fan, Ross. I don't know why, but
Yeah, I got a few people sending me up protective thoughts and charms and spells.
Oh, I have all weird stuff. I got literally
we got people on our side. We're the good guys. We'll be all right.
I have giant American churches after me and stuff like that. Thinking I'm annoying.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that one. But what I normally have, and I need to get a new one, is my favorite talisman it costs nothing really. Well, it costs 50p, I think. Was a little when you get these little white polished stones, which you see on the ground in the sort of Cumbraen area,
right?
And the little white stones, and you can polish them up, and they're beautiful. But they seem to be really significant for the really, really ancients, like thousands of years ago. I don't even know how far back. And what's weird, they only occur in this area, Southeast Wales. They're very sought after around the world, but I mean, they lie on like gravel in certain places if you know where to look. But what's curious, those really ancient burial sites up in the Orkney Isles and all that, those little burials, all the bodies have got one of these stones from South Wales in the grave.
What?
So, yeah, how weird's that? So I usually wear one of those. I lost my last one though. Pardon?
I'm trying to remember the name of that settlement that's below ground level, mud flooded in my case. Not Scapaflow.
Oh, I don't know the name.
Scarabray.
Yeah, that rings a bell, actually. That could be it.
Yeah, that's in the Shetland zone, not the Orkney.
But all those ancient ones and the round burials and that, they always have one of these stones in it. The only problem I found
Hmm.
was they're quite sharp, jagged stones, and you wear it around your neck. And if you sleep or something, if you roll over or something like that, it press into your chest.
I guess that anyway, but I just live with it. I got a meteor around the neck as well, yeah, from
So you just live with that, do you?
Namibia.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, I'll take my chances. If I'm going to get killed by a necklace or whatever, that'll just, the universe will suck. So I can't see that happening because it doesn't suck. It's epic.
This is going to kill me. It just hurt. That's all.
So yeah, mudflood. Just to say
Yeah,
that
keep going on
I
that. Sorry,
don't think
interrupted,
anywhere in the world escaped mudflood. I mean, I don't think anywhere escaped it. Even Easter Island, you got the Moe, and they are buried precisely 30 foot down. It's what you're finding for the classical world. Mussolini dug Rome out as early as 1934. It was under 30 foot of mud until that point. There's stacks of footage and stacks of video evidence to show you that the classical world was buried in mud as recently as the first half of the last century. It's incredible to think. Buried this. So there's schools of thought what could have happened, but we think is apocalyptic event, obviously a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Floods, so it's Noah's flood.
No, you're winning me over.
Yeah, earthquakes. And you get a lot of what you see in it's melting as well. So we think there's some sort of plasma. But I think you get a lot of this seems to have got water erosion, and this thing was swilling around before it all settled, mud, ash, all the rest of it. But everywhere in the world, every single major city in the world exhibits the same thing. These buildings with much, much lower levels, and basically an entire city underneath them. Yeah. This is
it's a crazy thing, isn't it? Because one of the things they sort of say in the mainstream is this worm action, isn't it? But I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, or cultural layers. But I worked in, this is my point, actually, it's a good point. Thank you for that, Ross. I worked in archaeology, as you know, and I've worked on Roman digs. I worked in Caerwent, and I worked for Cadw as well, Welsh monuments. And they were a spooky lot. I built the entrance, basically, one summer for Caerleon Roman baths. Done a beautiful job on it, got the right stone, made them nice match. They came along, all suits and looking like them, and said, nah, it's too good, take it down. So you mean take it down?
Good.
Too good, take it down. It's got like 2,000-year-old. So it's like, oh, well, couldn't you have told us you wanted us to do shoddy workmanship before we started?
Yeah,
so
yeah. Do you mind you're faking it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we wasted a month or so there, but didn't mind. They paid anyway. But yeah, right shady lot that they were. I any encounter with them. So yeah, I worked on a lot of monuments and stuff over the years. And when I worked in Cosmeston Medieval Village. I even had my photograph taken with a Western Mail once working there, mixing the compo, the mix for the buildings with cow shit and clay that I gathered in a field with a bucket and a shovel, following cows around. Anyway, the layers. So they say you go down like half a meter, and they say that's the medieval period. And then you go down like a meter, and then that was the Roman period. And I was like, hang on a minute. How can the medieval period's like 500 safe years ago, maybe, and then you got like 1,500 or 2,000 years ago was only that little bit lower? I couldn't get my head around it. It should be much, much lower. And I said, so all of this is just worm poo. It's like, and I was envisioning the tsunami of 1609, the debris of that must have been, And so it's like really, really not that. It's not worm poo. It is debris from events. And another thing, these strewn stones, you get them on top of Llantoni Valley on the top of Offa's Dyke. It comes down to a mountain called, I think it's Lord Henry's Knob. Right?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And there's these boulders are all strewn all over the top of the mountain. And what they'll have is, it's glacial deposit. And I'm like, what, on top of the mountain? That doesn't really fit, unless it was a mile above the mountain.
Yeah, why isn't it rolled down or something?
Yeah, exactly. But you just find them, and then looked into the narrative here a few years ago. It is in, you can wiki what happened to the stones. They say that they lit fires underneath them, smashed them to regain farmland in Britain, is what they say, with this with this weird narrative. But the whole country was just strewn with stones,
Yeah, what do you think about the idea of a comet coming over around about 562?
Well, you know, I seen the trajectory that it took, right? And I think it was really interesting. You know, Ross, it came from sort of, I guess, like the direction of like Peru, if you like, or South America.
Yeah, or ended up there. Yeah, depending which
Yeah,
direction
yeah.
you go,
Sorry, yeah. I ended up there, but it went over like Scotland, and then you got all these vitrified forts. You know, and I've got like so many depictions. If I could just show you here, Ross, of comets coming in way too close.
Oh, great.
I collect comic books, and this is one of my subjects. Basically, because I'm a flat earther, I don't think anything's orbiting anything in my head. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was wondering. Because you got comments trying to fit into a flat
Yeah,
Earth model.
I think, you know, think cannonball. You know, as crazy as it sounds, we don't know anything about reality. You just prove that with your dowsing rings. Yeah, with your dowsing
I'm
sticks.
totally open to all of this now.
Yeah,
I'm writing, well, editing really a book about the comet for Wilson and Blackett. So I am open to information, ideas on that. I suppose of what it was, you know.
That's weird. I put comments in and they didn't come up then.
No, I certainly didn't do it.
Oh.
I like that airplane crashed in the back of a house. That's a bit bizarre.
Oh, I got so many fantastic photographs that I commented Tuesday. Is this comments? Yeah, so you see them, and like I got a map on my wall, a famous one. When you see them in the medieval, you know, another J thing there, J or whatever it is, 572.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of you. Yeah, well, up in Camlan yesterday because I videoed it as well. I'll have to dig it out separately because it's just come off my camera now. There's a really ancient church there, and on the front porch, it says 1610, which would make it very old. But it does look a bit like a J610. But what makes it more interesting to my mind, or more likely, or whatever, is the fact on the inner door, there's a sign there, just says 520. So apparently that door or whatever, that entrance, is 1,000 years old. But the next bit, the extension is like 1,000 years younger, which seems a big gap to me. It just struck me as a bit strange. And what was also interesting as well was I should have got this ready for the show because it's ideal for sort of stuff you look at. Is above the entrance, there's this massive long bone. I should have to try and find this video now and show it to you. Huge thing, like 8 foot long or something. And people thought it was giants and all sorts of things, but it turns out they think it's a whale bone, which is something that was put over the entrances of churches in really, really ancient Neolithic times, you know, thousands of years ago. Right. That whole church was just weird. And then next to it,
where was it to?
Camlan. It's this Moedwi. Mouthwy. Do you know Camlan? King Arthur's last battle.
No.
Historians can't find Camlan, except you just do a Google Earth search, you'll find Camlan. There's a place, and there it was. And there's the river next to it and everything else. And that's where the Druid guy lives.
Oh. He's an interesting chap, isn't he?
He's brilliant. I absolutely love my time with him.
Somebody there knows Lantoni Church. Look, lovely little church in Lantoni, very old. Yeah, and you go up the steps to a little altar, don't you? You can visit little tiny chapel. Yeah, and you got the pub even goes downstairs. It's a Mudflowed pub in Lantoni. You got to go down the steps to get into it. It's like almost a cellar.
Yeah, because you can see me dousing with the Druid guy, but I was going to show you the entrance, that ancient. Here we go.
Cool.
How do I screen share or something?
Well, right on the bottom there, if you just click share.
Hang on, I need to come back to what you. Hang on, I got to jump back into your thing now.
Yes, stream.
You can see my limitations on the technical front. Right, okay, right. Share. I'll click on share, shall I?
Aye.
Share a video file or share screen? Which would you go for?
Is it both? They works on both, but share screen.
All right, I'll do share screen. It'll be easier, won't it?
Yeah.
Screen sharing tips. All right.
Super smashing
screen. God, dear, this is complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you see what's on my screen yet or not?
Not yet.
Not yet. How do I do this? A window. Yeah, that's what I want. Oh, there we go.
Just make sure you click the window. It'll come up.
Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, I got it. Can you see
got it, baby.
Looks a bit like Father Christmas, yeah?
There you go. You got it. Cool.
Well, that's him. He wears red. He wears shorts. He never wears long trousers and stuff like that.
Well, he looks like Gandalf the Great.
Oh, mate.
I'm not digging the speedos, though. He might be hanging out at the side of them while you're talking to him.
I can't click the video to move now because this stupid thing's in the way. Oh, here we go. Right.
There you go. Oh, wicked. Oh, look at that. Oh, I know. I know somebody who would love that church. Friend of mine. Wow, look at that window. Really low.
Yeah, if I hate to interrupt because he does explain, but I'm not sure how good the sound quality is.
No, I can't hear that. I'd have to knock it up.
All right, okay. Well, what we got here, if you can you see my cursor on the screen?
Yeah, it's like an arch, isn't it?
There's a gateway there. Well, what's amazing? It's like an entrance, like an entrance door. But it's been bricked over a long time ago, and on the inside, it's all plastered over. You'd never notice it. Now, the key thing about this particular church is where he thinks Arthur died after the Battle of Camlan. So the next day, they got his body here, and this is where he died. And there's something very freaky about it. You can see inside. You can't tell where it is. But they had this top dowser from Australia, and he went on the inside. He went, oh, yeah, this is where the body was taken out. And everyone's like, there's no door, there's no door. They all piled outside and had a look. And he's like, oh, yes, there is.
Wow.
Yeah, so some weird stuff. Yeah, I'll be putting a video up there. I've got to edit it all together.
You give it a bit of volume. Listen to.
You can't hear his voice, can you?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, hang on, I can turn it up.
Oh, you got a little bit more there.
Yeah, okay, we'll just see if that helps.
Well, a little bit. Wow, look at him. Wow.
But not for the modern entrance. It was a smaller church, but extended. And he had the other side of the wall from inside the church. He had the beer coming through all the way there.
All the bits I just told you, yeah.
He got doused and the rod's in his hand.
He doused it inside first before doing any of that.
That is weird.
Right, we'll see the entrance now.
Wow, this is cool. Thank you.
You can see up the top of the screen there?
What is it?
A really weird bent bone. Look, you think it's a whale bone, but this thing as well. This round thing. Not sure what it is.
Okay.
He does talk about it.
Giant's bone.
Oh, yeah, there's the 1641.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Wow.
Up there, look.
Whoa, yeah, 520.
And this is my imagination. That was like a weird zero there, but I must have scratched perhaps. But
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know why. At the time, I kept looking at it. It just looked more than an accident. But yeah,
yeah, I can see that. Oh. But wow. Whoa.
Do you want to stop this, or do you want to watch a bit more?
No, he's good. I'm digging him. He's a lovely dude. Sort of digging him. Yeah, that church is amazing. There's some buzz about that. Something's happened there for sure. Wow.
The most important thing of it is that this report was added in 1640.
16.
When they were doing their election reports, they dug up, you see that bone?
Bone. Well, you're not going to get a whale bone there. Is he near the coast? A giant's rib, more like. What's that? Right.
Okay. And so it's come from the sea. And one of our many hundred members, when he first came here, he recognised it straight away, and he's written books about it. He has a picture of
a brain.
down in Kent or Surrey or somewhere, Sussex. And it is a sign of really ancient goddess worship.
Goddess
worship.
worship.
Or Paleolithic, 10,000 years ago. This is a really, really ancient sacred site.
I guess rude now.
No, they do. They go like that. And they like to go into details when they get inside the church as well.
I can't hear you at all, Martin. I got the.
That is not a patella. It's not a bone at all. We had.
There's only 1 minute to go.
All over the world. I moved here in 2015. And this lady was from Australia, and she knew the Great Barrier Reef. And she immediately said, "Oh,
All right.
there was a coral reef there." Wow. It's like cabbage, a fossilized cabbage or something. But she knew it was straight away. They have fossilized those, haven't they?
So coral reef.
It's from an old coral reef. That's what it is. She knew. Brilliant. Brilliant.
That sounds like a sack of shit story. It looks like a brain to me. It looks like a fossilized brain.
Well, I thought it was a. Firstly, I said it was brain. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, is this near the coast anywhere or what?
No, it's sort of in. It's just up from Machynlleth. It's pretty much central. Well, where it is, it's the border. The reason why the Battle of Camlan was fought there, it's the border between Gwynedd and Powys, really. If you were taking the road from North Wales and from Birmingham or somewhere, and you were heading across to the west coast of Wales for your holidays at Barmouth or something, this is the route you take. You come through here. It's just off the A470. I mean, it's quite.
Yeah, I know the A470, obviously.
Yeah, it goes all the way up, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it looks like coral, Nora's saying. I live where I live. We got where I grew up, played in the fields when I was, not going to school. Was a battlefield of St. Fagans. But they don't know exactly where it took place. But there is one field that's got all stones, not unlike the ones you were showing on top of that mountain. So just stones all over. And they say it's where they fell and stuff, but they were supposed to be, a couple of thousand fell, etc. And if you go on the map and that, in the middle of the one field, the only prominent thing on the map is Arthur's Seat, another one like the one in, because there's an Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, isn't there?
Edinburgh's a few around, and you got Arthur's Table up in North Wales, and
yeah, as well.
It's a strange, yeah.
So, it's just everywhere. The legend is everywhere in this place.
Well, I think when it gets confused, I think there was. Just taking a view on it, and it's hard to know for certain. There definitely seems to have been prophecies. You got the astronomical thing. You got Arthur meaning bear, referring to the bear stag, all this kind of stuff. But the problem is, a lot of people see all that and say, therefore, there was no historical Arthur. And I would argue the opposite. The whole point of using his name as an allegory and everything is because he was so famous. It's no good you using someone who's no one's ever heard of. If you use the most famous character and use him as your character to explain stories of astronomy and stuff, that makes perfect sense to me. You get some people wanted to sort of say, I can see the astronomical link, therefore there was no Arthur. That's what I'm trying to say. That's not the case, Both are not mutually exclusive, are they?
No. I was just looking for things on comets, but actually I can't
find more people are going for the coral thing. Just looking at the comments.
Yeah, all right. But it just seems unusual for for Wales to have a chunk of Australian Great Barrier Reef.
That's the Australia. I think the idea was
he said the Great Barrier Reef. He said.
Oh yeah, the person recognized. The person did a lot of work on the Great Barrier Reef, and that's why she recognized it was coral. But where the coral comes from is another issue. Maybe we had coral in this country, for example. Because I think there's coral reefs everywhere, isn't there? They're all over the place.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's not just one in Australia, I don't think.
Well, they were coming out with.
Oh wow, where's this?
Right. Well, there's a lot of. If you Google underwater pyramids, there's literally tens of thousands of them all everywhere. This one is off of India. We've also got them off the Bay of. This is the Bay of Cayman, off the coast of India. But they got the lion.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Yeah.
So when I was, with the globe, with the orb, but I the queen where basically holds an orb and a scepter. The orb has got a cross in it, with the bottom bit missing. So we tend to think that they're just they like to show us everything in the play, and this item, this ball, is very significant, and we think it's a comet that has been told over and over again has reset this place. So yeah, this is interesting, Ross. You know, on the 1290 Mappa Monday.
Not very well, but I know it. Yeah.
I visited it in Hereford. It was an amazing thing to see. It's one of the earliest maps ever that you can view it on Earth, apparently. But they got Jerusalem as this, what looks like, for 1290, something very sophisticated. It's like a cog or a wheel. I'm guessing it could be battlements, but it's just unusual for that time period.
They could count the number of towers they had on their wall or something, I suppose. On how many
you got like, a tower there, you know. I'm guessing this is Solomon's temple, etc. Yeah, this is, I think this is Rochester or one of those in America, in New York State.
Everything was so beautiful, isn't it? So immaculate.
Immaculate. And, you know, these buildings are absolutely massive for the type of population that's around at the time. It's just, I keep thinking that these things are left over from a previous civilization. There was a lot more people that went before us. It's not difficult to work out what happened to them, not with everyone dropping like flies at the moment. No, I don't know what this is, Ross, to be honest. It's an old coin, but it's got this numbers game on the back, and we see this on alchemical depictions, one called Melancholia. And you got 111 at the top, and at the, half there, and at the bottom you get 666. So it's sacred geometry. But
is it meant to be a game or something then, or what do you think it is?
I think it dictates the date, I do. Because in this picture, Melancholy, she's sitting with her hands on her face, and she's looking at a comet going over, waiting for the stage show to. In there, they're outside the time. Our time isn't real. There's only ever the now. The past doesn't exist. It never really did, and the future doesn't exist because we haven't got there yet. Because we haven't intended it. You know, if you go with quantum mechanics, we haven't made the wave function collapse because we haven't viewed it. Whatever they say. So there's only ever the now. So there's only instances onto the next now, onto the next now. So time doesn't exist. And whoever is ruling this place, time isn't an issue for them, only us. And that's a construct. This is an incredible bit of device. I was thinking every time I see it, I think of Joe 90. But it's meant to, plot the planetary movement.
This is the voice of the Mysterons.
Exactly. I used to love that.
Or was that Captain Scarlet? I mixed them up.
Scarlet, mate. I used to have all of them.
Scarlet one. I loved him. Yeah, me too.
And obviously in my field as well, we talk about the worlds of free energy. So what we're saying in our field is up until JP Morgan again. So around between 1895 and say 1900, we find that all of these anomalous electricity, if you like, pylons without wires, which we think are resonators for gathering charge.
Oh, they're not wired up then. Okay.
Yeah, disappear. So if I can give you some examples of the electrified cool world, that
I've seen some pictures, of like Blackpool illuminations and stuff was like
exactly like that.
100 times better than it is now. It's just like phenomenal.
1,000 times.
Yeah,
so some of these buildings
get all the power to do all this.
Fifth Avenue was lit up early. The first electrified city was supposed to be in Buffalo, etc., in the narratives. But what we're finding is same with the cars and all of the others, the bloom technology that was with us, where people were just dropped off on these steam balloons, if you like, replaced by airplanes. So we think that free energy is a thing because it's on YouTube. Okay, not only perpetual motion through magnets. You can create a charge from the ether. So there's untold, untapped electromagnetic potential, static potential in the air. And the higher you get up into that electrostatic charge, the more potential there is. So this is why churches have got these massive resonators. So when the wind hits them, all the subtle energies, they will resonate violently. Crosses will on tops of churches too. The resonation can create a charge, which is carried through into what looks like an upside down spark plug, because it's not far off the same technology. What could they utilize this for? Well, I'm not sure if you're aware of PC cities, but that is another aspect. So these are these three energy things, okay? So they go missing in favor of Tesla and the Edison narrative. oh, Tesla's got free energy. He knows how to get the third electric out of the air. He knows the secret. But they push Edison light bulbs. That's the official narrative. Both two players, different sides of the Hegelian dialectic. What is really going on, as we think, is these devices, because they're not churches, we think they're devices, okay, were energy gatherers in the past. Power stations, if you like.
Wow.
Bells inside, they resonate as well. So a bell would ring an hour. It would cause a resonation, a vibration, which could create a charge, okay? And then they top it up every 15 minutes or so with another bell charge, which would be a form of free electricity using just a bell ring. So you'll find these things everywhere leading out of these buildings. You can see all of these ceramic, ends onto these.
Yeah, like little capacitors or something, yeah.
Yeah. And these U-bends, so like resonators, they're not the telegraph, because we know what the telegraph looks like, because we got the telegraph pole over there. We know what they look like. But these things, these U-bends, they have no wires. And, they disappear. Some of them are still around, but they disappear in, around the turn of the century. And these great devices, it's down to the symmetry and the purity of the metal. It will resonate violently. You can hear my railings outside sing when it's windy. They sing and they vibrate and they oscillate.
Wow.
Yeah, because Tesla told us in this place, everything is vibration, everything is resonation. I think this is indeed the case. And I think this this untapped electrostatic potential, I think, is something really easy to get. I really do feel this. And I feel once we got that, it's game over. Everyone can have free utilities. And they definitely got it. So
yeah, I'm sure we could have free energy.
They got it. They have it. I think coal mining,
yeah.
I think it's all bullshit. The way Maggie sold out all the mines. Yeah, because they didn't need it anymore. It was just another dialectic to keep it all spinning over. The working men's clubs, bad health, all keeps Big Pharma, everything else spinning over. They want bad health. They want a bad society. They want a drunken old man who works down a pit all day coming on and bashing his wife, because they told you to do it on the television. This is British culture, yo. It's all, cultural engineering.
Ingrained into us, yeah.
Yeah. So these things are all over
Christendom. They call it their Christian work ethic, isn't it? I love that one.
Yeah, the Christian work ethic, exactly. It's still brainwashing.
Protestant work ethic, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
People are just not like it anyway, Ross, if you ask me.
Yeah.
People are more down to earth in Wales than other parts of the world, though, I have found. You know that, Ross? They're not quite the same.
Yeah, I think a more relaxed attitude towards it. It's just the materialism is less here, I think, although it's changing. But we are getting invaded anyway. I mean, have you seen their Wales Vision 2040? They're going to build 7,500 new houses every year for the next 20 years.
No, but we got in between.
That's not Welsh people, is it? They're not having millions of babies everywhere,
No, I think it's all the millennials, and everyone's just been making babies in the last year or so. There's babies popping out left, right, and centre.
I don't know. I think it's more people moving to Wales. I think a lot of people are getting out of England. It's sort of
it don't take a genius to work it out. Yeah, they're getting rid of this. Is a complete reset of civilization. In another, say, 5, maybe 10 years, when the dust settles, people won't even have an idea of the world we grew up in, and then freedoms. Yeah, this is the day. Where you can't even do anything because they'll just be ordering you around. These things are our downfall. They'll be the downfall of humanity. The devices. There's no doubt about it. Okay, they just order us around. We can't live without them. It's dictating our realities, and all of these photographs everyone keeps taking. It's just another aspect we talk about is the size of the architecture as well. It's just monstrous.
The grand scale, isn't it? Yeah,
like this little dotty man, and all of this effort just for a lamppost. And then there's the narrative.
Like stairs,
is this gas powered, or the narrative is lamplighters went round all of the streets of London, lit up something like 80 million lamps every single night. And
there were a few of them.
Well, I had them when I was a kid as well. There's no
doubt. There were a few lamplighters going around. It wasn't just one bloke, was it?
Well, I'm not sure.
I agree with you. No, I think it's ridiculous as well. Yeah, I never. All this is quite new to me. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you see this in Moscow?
The Kremlin, yes, I've been there.
Yeah. So to our eyes, or to my eyes, if I'm honest, right, I think that's top heavy. To me, it looks like this is just the top of a very large building. We're just looking at the top bit.
Oh, wow.
Because it's disproportionate. Why would you build a building that has, you know, this is the building, and then, you know, the other 80% is all roof and turrets and minarets? Makes no sense. Where's the rest of the building? And you'll find it for the Kremlin and, you know, another clock tower. The clock will strike, it will ring a bell, create a charge into the spire, drag down for reusable to keep on the circuit board cities. And they got ceramic roofs as well, which are also for insulating as well. And these everywhere in Christendom. You see them everywhere. Once you see them, you'll see wires coming off and going down. And the arguments with some people is, oh, they're electricity conductors. I fitted electricity conductors for a living. They're copper strips to go one of them from the top down to the bottom, end of story to ground the building. This is not what these are, because I've already examined these. These are resonators, and we know the technology works. So look at that building. How fantastic. Again, I think it's missing. I think most of that is underground. I really, really do. It's just,
wow, what a thought.
It's just fantastically big, though, isn't it? You know, and everything is built for a proportion of not like the people who live here. So these Russian ones are fantastic pictures. And it's freezing cold most of the time. How are they building these structures back in the day on horse and cart in a place that's freezing most of the year? They must have really got their skates on in spring months.
Yeah, no, you're right. Half the year is frozen over completely, isn't it?
Yeah. And then, you know, electric trams turn up before the motor car is another curious thing as well. You see these, the onion domes? Some of them are gold. Some of them got ceramic tiles. But all of them can catch a charge. And this is what we find in the great expositions. They show some of these electrical devices. Okay. They're selling at the time. And with these things we call them Bunko Booths. I named them that a while ago. But we think they're like the electricity substations of today. So when you see basically a kiosk in a city street, or these are all over the continent of Europe. You see most of these and in America. We think this was their initial reasoning, was they could hold a charge. And look at this, with giant Tesla coils in the background, a massive, massive valve. Whatever were they doing in the 1800s with a valve of such scale? But it's crazy. If you watch the film Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, or her husband actually wrote that, Byron, but she wrote that in the year 1812, okay, apparently, in a reset year. And if you look at the film, they're using machinery and electricity. They draw the lightning down and they reactivate him through lightning and giant valves and, you know, just technology that you wouldn't think was around in 1811, because that's how advanced they were. You know, off these, what we think are resonating devices, catch a charge, store it in here for the circuit board city idea, which we go with. So trams, some of them, no rail, they're on rails, but they have no overhead cable and no horse. And they have a motor inside. So we are convinced that they're working wirelessly.
It's almost a car, isn't it?
Yeah, wirelessly. It's not a gas motor or anything like that.
Well, one of the things George Orwell talks about is that one of the jobs of government is to convince every generation that they're better off than the previous generation when actually they're worse off.
Yes, exactly that. And it's not, you know, even Russia was a fantastically amazing country in the past. Look at this. This is in the 1700s, fully electrified.
That's awesome, isn't it?
It is awesome. We got so many from the 1700s, you know, fully electrified.
Isn't it? How did they do that in the 1700s? Yeah.
Because they were using what we think is these resonators. You see no wire. So what if it's not a resonator? If it's not,
what is it?
What is it? And it's right next to one of these what look like bunker booths. Always
it's a weird
right
bit of
next
Art
to,
Deco,
always.
isn't it?
Yeah, because they're transferring charge. Faking history. Yeah, the Wright brothers. We think they had aircraft. I've shown proper bi-wing planes, not bi-wing, single-wing planes. Flying in the 1700s, no problem. I've shown evidence. I got documents I could show. And this is Wilbur Wright with their man. We just invented the plane. And he's flying through a street, but that's superimposed. He's not really there.
That's cheating, isn't it?
Well, the horses.
He's 10 years after the Welsh boys did it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you want about not willows, there's willows, is there?
Oh, it's like 20 years before, wasn't it? Some guy up in mid Wales was flying around, wasn't he? That's another story. I'll look it up for you.
Oh, I don't know about that. I know about
Yeah.
Ernest Willows. He was a balloonist from Cardiff.
I was
He
in the
flew
Ernest Willows a few days ago in the city, on City Road.
the pub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like City Road.
So I like City Roads. I lived on City Road on top of Pronto Print for a while. A flat there.
Very
Great
glamorous.
days. Yeah.
No, it's great City Road. Have you come to Cardiff, go to City Road. It's got
Yeah.
everything. Shawarmas, kebabs, Chinese, a lot.
We got the best kebabs in the world, and the best kebabs in the world in City Road.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I don't
drive.
eat kebabs, by the way.
I drive down from Pontypridd just to have a shawarma or a kebab down there.
Do you?
We all go down, yeah, and eat them in the car. That's a big night out for a Ponty boy, that is.
I used
Drive
to
to
go
Cardiff for a
Ponty
kebab.
nights out. I used to work with a load of Jehovah's Witnesses from Istanbul.
Right.
Oh my God, they were crazy. They were wicked for corrupting, easily corrupted. I had them corrupted in no time. They were actually forbidden in the Kingdom Hall, like to go around with me. They were saying, like, this man is a very bad person. And I went up to Stripes, and I used to go to all the, the couple of clubs in Ponty, and I had a few friends.
Cringes and scuffles, we used to call them. It was gingers, which we used to call cringes, and rattles, which is called scuffles. Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
you don't fight in Pontypridd. Even I know that, and even I'm not that stupid. Get that kicked in. This is the London Stone. Have you seen it?
Oh, right, good picture. I haven't seen that picture. No,
I know.
Stone.
The
Very
effort.
important.
Yeah,
It's
that
dreadful because most of it's been destroyed. There's
What do you know of it then, Ross?
well, it goes all the way back to the original founding. Is the idea, isn't it? It goes back to 1500 BC, Albine migrations. This is the stories. And it was a lot larger, and that was used to mark the central London. And they tried to get rid of it and stuff. I can't remember all the details off the top of my head. I've done a video on that when Marcel Abrahams has, and I'll do a talk with her about it. I'll make a note. I'm making notes because the London Stone is absolutely crucial. It's one of the most important things in the whole of British history. It's been built over.
The stone spoon as well. What's the deal with this stone that has to go into the coronation tape? See, what's so important about a stone?
Well, that's part of the Irish mythology. That one, isn't it? It's the idea. It's the head that Jacob rested head on in the Bible when you go back to Jacob's ladder. It's supposed to come all the way. Yeah, that's the stone it's supposed to be. That's the one he rested his head on.
Oh, wasn't aware.
It's weird how they slept on stones. It's not the most comfortable thing to put your head on. It's more to it than that, I think. But that's the idea. And he came back possibly with Queen of Scotty, because Scottish are actually from Ireland. They were the Scotty who went to Ireland, and then it became Scotland. He used a proper name, or Alban, the Welsh name, which is the old British Scottish. So it's all tied with that. The stone is scone, and he ended up in Scotland.
Well, the money from Cardiff was all Scottish. It wasn't Bute a Scotsman.
Bute was Scot, yeah. And the people who are building the wind farms now is Bute Energy. So after screwing us for a couple of 100 years, they found a new way to do it now. It's marvellous, isn't it? Same people.
No, that wind farm thing, I've been thinking about wind farms for some time. Me and my friend been looking at them. I visited a few, and the noise off them is ridiculous. Can't stand them. But,
I'm renaming them wind factories. I'm renaming them. Wind farms just makes them sound nice and gentle.
Like there's some fun place to go. Here's a nice thing of Mudflowed Evidence. Yeah,
this look at that.
Yeah, this is basically what you find for American cities. They all went through a leveling process. So it's like Seattle, raised. Seattle, Chicago. In this case, this is Kansas City, St. Louis as well. Loads of these all had the mud dug out. These are supposed to be Tartarian warriors photographed in the 1920s, believe it or not. Like the real McCoy.
Yeah, they look cool anyway, wherever they are.
Well, I think they might be actors. I think a lot of the, even with the, I'll give you an example, right? You get this photograph here of somebody really weird looking guy, and he's collecting something. It's a bit spooky looking, but the background's completely fake. It's gone.
Yeah, it's a studio shot, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a studio shot. Or they don't want you to see what's in the background.
Oh no, yeah, it's been cut badly, actually, isn't it?
Terrible. I got one when the paint's coming over here as well. Another. But it's it's like what they're doing and what's they're hiding the background. First World War photographs, always the same ones. I collect World War I books and stuff, and it's always repeated. The Irish Rifles. This is supposed to be the 1st of July, 1916. Irish Rifles, first morning, the Battle of the Somme, going over, and it's just like, you know, haven't they got anything more? I know, and I know the you know, they edited or censored the First World War terribly, but it just
Well,
seems
so what you're saying is there's a massive shortage of photographs of World War One. Is that?
Oh yeah, it's no more than that. Going back to the American Civil War, these are supposed to be some of the biggest battles ever. You know, they're talking Napoleonic-sized battles, up to 500,000 people taking part in, say, Battle of Antietam, you know, or Gettysburg, like literally massive amounts of humans. The whole country was supposed to be rallied yet. The photographic record doesn't show that. It shows tents in a field. It shows the odd front line. No masses of men on any photograph. The dead have already been admitted by Gardiner, a Scottish man who was the official war photographer for the English Civil War and the Crimean War, that he set up the dead because of the lack of them in Gettysburg, when tens of thousands are supposed to have been dead. So it's a constructive narrative, and I think this is the same for the First World War. You know, I can't. Well, yeah, I've met. So I'm not saying they didn't have their legs and arms blown off, and all of the trench stuff was happening. Yeah, but I think there was a lot of parley going on. There was a lot of long lines of the, 800 miles of trench system. They said that some sectors, they play cards at night. There was nothing going on. There was the stage set, Passchendaele, Ypres, and all of that. The world was watching. Yeah, but I think it's just constructed. I think all of it, all wars that we see are constructed for the media, like this thing that, they just marketed the common cold. They smashed it, didn't they? So there they are. I could have been one of these kids,
You could be in the Garlic, mate.
Yeah, this is St Mary Street, just outside of
Cardiff
Market. Yeah.
Back when St Mary Street used to be cool.
I tried to get a job as a Dalek. I applied for the people who were doing it because I thought like they were making it here in Cardiff. They still do. Doctor Who. Thought I'd love to be a Dalek, but I didn't obviously get one. It's a little skinhead there, but it's Dr. Martin's on. So it was back in them days. Horrible weather back then, wasn't it? And then back 120 years ago, say, this was the world they had. All of the women have umbrellas, all for some reason. They're all protecting their heads. I think the sun was too strong. But look at that. Horse and cart delivers all this stone and glass and all of this statues, and just makes you wonder how they got it all up there and how the whole thing just is being. This is like divine architecture.
You're right. We don't have hundreds of pictures of these things under construction, do we?
Not only that, they can't rebuild this today. They could not rebuild that building, for example, today. They could not. They need all the money in the world to rebuild, say, St. Paul's Cathedral. They cannot do it. It's got sacred principles and geometry in it, which makes it an active device, makes this a conscious machine, if you like. But they can't do that with the buildings of today, and they got no intention of doing it with buildings of today.
No, just functional today, aren't they? They've lowest function, yeah.
Glass buildings with metal, but they still got a function as such. But yeah, look at the size of the statues of the old world. Is there any need for that? Here's a couple of monkages, and they're hewing stones this big in the classical world. Why are they doing that? Oh, there you are. I'm sure you've seen this. 1900. You know them scooters that are burning around the place at the moment? Nothing new under the sun.
Look, yeah.
Electric as well. That's a battery. Nice,
looks more solid as well, that one.
Yeah, I bet she just goes tanking along. I got photographs this period where they're all plugging in their electric cars. All the buses are electric, and it's just they had it all. We've gone backwards a lot, yeah, and they just fool everyone into thinking, oh, we just reached the pinnacle of civilization. This is another one. So they're building rockets, yeah, in 1569, and they can shoot them over a fort. Or J566, that's interesting date there. J566, that's interesting. Strap them onto birds, yeah. Strap them onto ordnance, and they couldn't even do this in the in the 1900s. Apparently, they couldn't do rocketeering until that German Werner von Braun turns up with his rocket genius. In my head, I don't think rocket, it's rocket science. It's a difficult science. My son and I, we built fireworks, yeah, And they can take off if we wish them to. It's not difficult science to get a thrust. Yeah. Directionalized thrust. This is another thing we look into, is the reset of civilization, is the fact that orphan children, I don't know if you know about this.
Okay, a little bit.
Well, you know how they shipped out children to Australia for a tenner back in, back in the Edwardian era, and loads got shipped out there. Only recently Australia apologized for the treatment of these people. Well, it turns out they had orphan trains in America, which would bring tens of thousands of orphans and share them out. You could literally go to a market, like a cattle market, and buy 2 kids, take them home. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Yeah, it is incredible, but that was the case. I seen there's a video out there and watched this week of a train driver who was an orphan himself, who used to drive the orphan trains. Yeah, and there was people like, it was like Jack and the Beanstalk. People go in there to buy something in the market and taking 2 kids home to the wife. Just what? So what we're wondering is, there's tens of thousands of children turning up, right? Where's the parents?
Everyone's young.
It turns out that some of the reasons they will attribute to, in the case of Ireland, the Irish potato famine, cholera epidemic. Okay. This is another technology. The inventor hides secret death ray. Another one they got rid of. I don't think that's a difficult science. That's another science. We think, my first book, I just basically decode the shit out of antiquity. So there's that building I just showed you on the top there, and we think it's like that underneath. Yeah, just mud flooded in over and over again, reset a civilization over and over and over again, which can be seen. You dig further down, you'll see all of these Greco-Romano columns, all further down below the street level in most major cities, especially the older ones. And as far as we can see,
how much excavation's been done there, Martin?
Sorry?
Has it been much excavation done?
Oh, yes, we got stacks of evidence. I love that one. For example, the Russian Philharmonic in Moscow recently excavated, and it showed at least 2 layers below street level. I've got endless photographs of buildings recently excavated. War is a brilliant thing for showing you mud flood, because when buildings have been shelled out, you can see the cellars, and you can see doors going through into what is essentially mud, because there was a street there at some time in the past. Led Zeppelin, they know all about it. They tell you on all their covers about the air balloons of Tartaria.
I've got that album somewhere. You can open the little windows.
Yeah, look at all this. And, the doors are always up in the air. Icy mornings. Is this really sensible?
Well, I had a house like this in London, exactly like this, where you went up the steps to the door. Not exactly. It wasn't as big as this or anything. But I had one floor of my house, just like you see it, half below ground. It wasn't a cellar; it was just half below ground. So you could, you had to go in via the house, and back in via the inside.
Yeah, that's a good example there.
Yeah, I like that.
You can see clearly this is the top of a window, the same as it is down
there.
Oh
yeah, my house in Kennington, in London, was like that.
In Kennington,
Stockwell as well. I did Kennington as well, but Stockwell, same area. Right. Yeah, just like that. It's not crazy, massive, but the bottom floor was like that, half below ground.
There's loads of ideas what happened. I do think it was, the Noah's flood did happen. And I think it only happened as little as maybe 700 years ago. I think that all of this debris, came into the streets. It could have been something like a weapon used that caused all the mud to just turn to like slurry, liquefaction, basically. Like earthquakes can do it. An earthquake can turn earth to slurry. You can turn it to mud because the resonation, the shaking makes it turn to mud.
Oh, really? Okay.
If you look, there's an event called Port Royal, which happened off of the coast of Jamaica, off the coast of Kingston, Jamaica. It was there in the 1600s. It was called the wickedest city on earth, and it was the richest port on earth. Wow. Right? Port Royal, and they say it was built on a sand spit, but anyway, they had an earthquake hit it. And buildings of big Greco-Romano buildings, everything just sunk. You can go there today and see a lot of these buildings just sticking out of the ground. Liquefaction. The whole place sunk into the ground. Thousands. Wow. Yeah. Port Royal. Check it out. A lot
I
of Port
wonder, yeah.
Royal got stuff still under the water, like you can see like this from the old world. Pirate City. It was basically a pirate city, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've heard that about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I use air conditioning in the past. Look, Ross, we could get a bit hot. Air
That's very
conditioning.
comfortable. Yes.
Yeah.
What
We
on earth
wondered
is
about
going
top
on there?
hats as well. That could have been the technology, top hats. Like, you know, they could have been keeping ice in there or something to keep their brains
So what do you
warm.
think's going on there then?
Well, it's air conditioning suits because it's so hot. It's basically heat sink, and that would work.
That would
work
help,
really
would it?
Yeah, like heat sink in a computer. Heat sinks work whatever. They just capture and redistribute the air and cool it down. So that would work absolutely perfectly. It's a brilliant tech. We should all have them. I want one.
Yeah, no, me too. Oh, I definitely want to fly like this.
Oh, well, that's another thing we think about.
Out of women's windows like that. Is it my
Check this
imagination?
out.
Have you noticed on all these old photographs? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems to be. How do I put this tactfully? You don't see any beautiful people.
I agree. Have you ever seen the Huguenots?
The women in that are dreadful.
Well, they're all
looking.
misshapen and then are like hotties and that. And
Yeah,
you know, they don't like
big
maternity.
noses
We've all
and-
noticed this. Look at the Huguenots, right? The royal dynasty of the Huguenots on Google. They got one eye up here and one eye down here. They are terrible. This
But when
is
they showed the wives in that, they're always like these, because we always fed this idea they don't have enough food and things, are we? And you see they're all big women, they got big, strong
I'm telling you,
necks,
you're right. You're bang on. You've noticed this. We've noticed
big
this. Don't worry
faces,
about
you
that.
know, with these big kind of cheeks and stuff.
Yeah. They're like, some of them are like, we're not sure what they are actually, especially with the Phoenicians on the statues.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to be
And
too
Greek
aggressive.
gods as well. I did go like, I actually analysed why Greek statues have like basically no penis. They got like not real penises. They got little tiny ones. We looked into the reasons. Apparently, the classical world thought it was vulgar. You know, I'm not buying that. I think something else was going on. This is interesting. So you know there was a census taken at the time when Jesus was supposed to be born.
Well, yes. Well, there's one recorded in the Bible anyway. Yes.
So it's a reset period. There's a census taken right now at last 2020. So you know, in a reset period, they sense us, finds out how many people are there, and this is supposed to be a middle, you know, Renaissance picture of the nativity. So this is supposed to be, you know, the stable that Jesus is born in, but it's shown in a reset, smashed classical world. And again, in the medieval ages period, not in a biblical period. You know, it's just, look at this for the size of this. This is in Madrid. This is Madrid Central Bank. Look at the size.
Phenomenal, isn't it? Phenomenal.
And it's got some sort of silver orb up here and a lot of what we think is antiquitech, is what we call it. Antiquitech. Yeah. And yeah, that came up my Brian. It's everywhere now. These railings as well, they have, you get a lot of different designs in them. Some of them are sigil art, we found. And you get these subtle energies passing through these railings, which are on a lot of roofs. Nobody's going to ever see them. They're there for something. They're not there for eye view. And they've shake and resonate as well. So we think they could have been part of the antiquitech. And also, if you get subtle energies passing through, say, a demonic sigil, like a Solomon sigil, the set, a bad thing, then the ethers will pass through it, and just it's not a good thing at all. Look at this.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I think it's a landing platform in China for air balloons. I think air balloons landed on a lot, you know, an air balloon.
I've never understood why I didn't have balloons, because balloons are easy technology, aren't they? You just
Hindenburg was a psyop. Yeah, Hindenburg was a psyop. Yeah.
I don't see any reason why the ancients didn't have balloons. It's always mystified me, that has.
No, they did. This is the easiest technology. And I tell you another easy technology as well, the camera. I've shown, you know, evidence just up by here of they were using a camera obscura or what is moving images in what you regard as the Dark Ages. Yeah.
Definitely for doing portraits. I'm pretty sure about that.
Sorry to the people watching. We've got 733 folks have joined. That's nice. Yeah. Make sure to subscribe to Ross, guys, please.
Hello, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had loads since last time. And I'm also trying to
Okay,
jot
more.
down questions I see in the comments. I saw one from Sebastian about giants, so I'll try and if we get back to, I'll try and get back to them. Okay.
All right then. Well, let's
Any
have
questions? I'll note them down because they don't want to interrupt the flow on this. So
All right, I'll just stop sharing for a minute. And
no, sorry, carry on. I'm just making a note. That was all. If any come
all
up,
right,
I
I need to
do my
flick through
best.
some. Okay. So thanks everyone for joining on a Tuesday night. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's all a bit bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, all a bit bizarre. I tell you what, it's good to be able to refresh with all of this as well, because you know, you like I said, you don't really know much about all this field of
No.
tartaria, mudflood, but it's such a massive subject. You know, it's free energy, it's antiquitech, it's
Yeah, I want to see your books now. Yes, I'm gonna have to
the
get into
health aspect of it. You know, we're unleashing. You know the real health. You know, and the fact that we can live for a long, long time. People were living a long time in this place. I think. You know, before all of this kings and queens like. I think they were existing a long, long time. Maybe 150 years. The Bible says they were living 800 years.
Yeah, hundreds of years in the Bible. Yeah.
Sorry, what was I going to look for then? I got a brain fart.
No idea.
Farting Martin. There you go.
I thought you were in the middle of you were
Oh,
doing
I know.
fine. You're on. Sing us a song, Ross. Says sketches.
Oh, can you?
Am I singing?
Yeah.
Well, I could do my new words for my anti-turbine song.
Go on then.
I'm a bit tired now. I've been talking for an hour and a half. I have to get my larynx going. Hang on.
No, we've been talking for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Actually, you've been talking. I've been listening mostly. I've got no excuse.
Oh, and then hit me up then.
I will try, because people know all these wind turbines are going all over Wales, and all over everywhere. Canada, England, everywhere. And it's a con, right? It's an absolute con. They don't save the environment at all. If you look at all the carbon, if you want to go into that madness, this goes into them. You got these, the concrete, thousands and thousands of tons, and they make the cement for it in India because Britain doesn't pollute anymore. So you got these terrible lime quarries in India.
Cement works down the road.
Yeah, well, you find most of the cement used in Britain is now imported, and the steel. We don't make much of the steel anymore. So it's all been phenomenal infrastructure. And then the other thing you don't realise is that the turbine itself is only a small part of it. There's a massive area you need. You need platforms for the cranes to lift up these huge metal things. So they're just horrendous. And also they last. Well, according to the industry, they last 8 or 9 years. So it takes 8 or 9 years to pay back the carbon they use in making them and transporting them. And I think that's an underestimate. And after 20 years, they're no good, and they abandon them. And hopefully they take them down. But what happens is, like has happened a lot in Cornwall, the original company goes bust, and they just left there. And they just left these ugly towers rusting away forever, and these huge concrete platforms, which and they only last 20 years. You can't reuse the concrete platforms either. So it's incredibly wasteful. It's a complete con. And they're going to be all over Wales.
I think.
Why?
You know?
Why? Yeah.
Some days they don't seem to be moving when it's windy, and other days they're rushing around like they put the brakes on them. You know, we were wondering because of free energy whether they were actually not actually generating electricity, but actually rather burning off excess electricity.
Well, not as daft as it sounds, because Wales already produces twice the renewable energy it uses. And also, what else are you going to say about that? Yeah, because some people have theories actually trying to create the kind of woo. And if you get enough of them, you can create a very negative frequency. Which isn't a very nice thing to think about either.
Yeah, that wouldn't it? That vibrational. You know, when a helicopter goes off, you can feel it in the air. You can feel it in the air. It's just the rotors. The birds are disturbed. Ooh, music, guys.
I should try and sing. Don't it always seem to go? You just don't know what you got till it's gone. Destroy paradise, fill it with wind turbine. They're a new type of factory, a blight on the whole nation. With 1 million tons of concrete and a whole load of power substations. Don't it always seem to go that you just don't know what you got till it's gone. Destroy paradise, fill it with wind turbine. They took all the stones, put them in a stone museum. Then they made damn sure that the people would never get to see them. Don't it always seem to go that you just don't know what you got till it's gone. Destroy paradise, fill it with winter pine. Hey, greedy corporates, put away your JCBs. You've heard us enough, it's time to save the birds and bees. Please, whoosh, 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 the birds all die. Whoosh, 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 the bees all die. Destroy paradise, fill it with winter pine. Late one night when you hear the turbines drone, 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 drone. Be too late then, and there's no point in having a moan. There you go.
Brilliant.
Yay.
Absolutely brilliant. Thanks, Ross. I love a bit of Joni Mitchell. Yeah,
A bit of Joni
lyric.
Mitchell. Joni Mitchell, I wasn't. There you go.
Yeah, the other version was
I'm
good as well. I can't remember what it
The
named.
algorithms never do me for copyright because they don't realise what song I'm
But they
singing.
don't like
Like,
singing and
they don't-
laughter. The algorithm don't do that. It only does
doesn't know what song I'm doing, so it's all right. We're okay.
Oh, that was fantastic. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. Doesn't usually come out that well, actually, so don't expect too much.
Oh, my days. I can't believe that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so we're working on that. So there we go. We'll start the protest. We'll try and do our best. But I think it's all stitched up at the highest level. But there you go. At
Right,
least
let's
if you're
show
being done over, let them know you're being done over, isn't it? That's my idea. Hey, one question from Sebastian about giants from Britain.
Okay.
Well, just quickly, one theory is that it's actually when the first arrivals came with their migrations, wasn't it? And they were talking about the giants. They might have been referring to the Giantes, who were part of the original migration. Although some people do think they were giants. Now it ties in a little bit further. If you go back, there's a theory started by what's his name? Inman. Got his book right there. Yeah, Eamon Wilkins, that Troy was actually in Cambridgeshire in Britain. That's quite a fun thing. And if you go there, there's a place where you can see Priam Way in Cambridge, and you've got Gog and Magog. There's a golf club called Gog and Magog Golf Club.
Wow.
And it does seem to be a Trojan War. And there's a few of us working on it. And the thinking we got at the moment is that there was probably 2 Trojan Wars. So there's a British Trojan War in Cambridgeshire about 1100 BC. And then the Anatolian one about 650 with Achilles and all those guys.
Wow. Cambridgeshire, eh?
Now, one of the interesting things about the giants, though, it does seem to have been giants, the Gog and Magog. And there's an old tradition that all through history, whoever the king or queen is, has always had a giant guarding the door. And big giants as well. I mean, 8-footers and stuff. But again, it's not one of these things which seems to have disappeared.
Og is a giant.
Yeah, if you watch the Lord Mayor's show, every year you get the giants of Gog and Magog at the start of the parade.
No,
So
never.
I wouldn't
In
write
Cardiff
off
one.
giants yet.
I've never
Sorry?
seen that. In the Lord Mayor's Parade.
In the Lord Mayor's Parade, yeah, you'll see the Gog and Magog giants. Yeah, it's part of the parade, always. But I don't know if they have these kind of things they have on strings and stuff. Yeah, I know. I couldn't remember watching them either because I used to watch it every year when I was a child.
Same.
I loved it. It was all on the telly, wasn't it? It was one of those big
Yeah,
TV
it was on the
events.
telly. It was big. It was massive.
Big TV events, yeah. But have a look for Gog Magog, and you'll see them in the parades. But I can't remember to see them either. So I don't know if the BBC just didn't show them or something, or they weren't there, or if it's a new thing. But apparently, it's supposed to have always been there, and there are photographs of them there in recent years.
Interesting. Yeah, I posted about Og, the King Og. He was a Welsh king.
Og?
And Og is a giant.
You think he was a giant as well?
No,
Yeah.
he was. He was a
Oh,
giant.
he was, okay.
Apparently, in the narrative, yeah, he was a giant, all right. King Og. And he was a
King
good
Og.
guy. He was a good guy.
Good King Og.
Yeah,
So
he
think about-
battered, apparently, he battered Moses, who was a murdering psychopath in this narrative.
Well, he was a military man. People forget he was a general in his younger life, but there you go.
Yeah, someone, Campbell here, who's autodidactic. Check his channel out if you haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I just have a flash about the giants. Yeah, when you go to the Welsh ancient creation stories, and I hate the word myths because people think it sounds like a load of
no,
nonsense.
mythos is what they turned into. I think mythos is fact.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can use the word then. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to belittle it by calling it myth, the old mythology. Finn McCool as well, yeah. Was that when the original flood stories in the Welsh Mabinogi and that, and you got the Welsh records, you've got a character called Enoch who seems to be a sort of Noah equivalent. And he was
Indeed.
supposed to be a giant who.
Yeah,
who
indeed. We
saved,
read the Book of Enoch. I have myself. It's
you
fantastic.
got the book. If you look at the Book of
Yeah,
Enoch,
indeed.
it's
Yeah.
well worth reading.
Well, I'm
Do you ever
Enochian. We are flat earthers are Enochian, and that's the
oh
end
my
of it.
goodness! All right,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
we've written more common ground there.
There's aspects of Enochian thinking in my first book, because I talk about the 4 angels, which is
Oh, there
talked
you go.
about in
All right,
Enoch.
yeah, that's the kind of
Well,
thing
he talks about as windows or doors, aria, on the 4 corners.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Okay, I'd like to have a look at that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
giant. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So yeah, that's in our field as well. But also today was just saying Gog and Magog are George Bush and George Bush Senior's 322 Skull and Crossbones names. Yeah.
all right, okay.
I knew that anyway. But yeah. But
Oh,
that's
that's
interesting that
about
they're
giants.
there.
I had something else to
Wow.
say about giants. Never mind, it's gone now. But it's to do with Enoch. Oh yeah, do you also saying when you look at all that reference? Did you use the book of the Colburn Bible at all? Did you use
Yeah,
that?
I got it. Yeah. I linked it to my website. I've talked about
really?
it for years. Yeah. I the box saga, Corbin Bible. I've talked about them all. I've got like a link I could just grab now, and it's
Oh well,
fantastic stuff.
You do a lot of reading. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I do.
Well, Yvonne Whiteman, I got it wrong when I interviewed her. I've got an interview. If you look to my channel, you look for Yvonne or type in Colburn, because that's Kolbin.
Yeah, that's right. K. Yeah.
Very similar to the ancient writing.
Yeah, it is.
Which could be a big clue, but it's spelt differently at the moment. But I've interviewed Yvonne. She's lovely because she's the one who's sort of custodian for it. Yeah, she's really nice. I got an interview with her talking about the origin stuff, and it ties in with the migrations. Yeah, the Colburn Bible's well worth a read. It's a big read, man. It's a big old book.
It's a massive book. But yeah,
well, as big as the Holy Bible,
years.
isn't it? It's about the same sort of size, just to give you an idea. Lots and lots of books. Well, it is a Bible, really.
Well, it is a Bible. The links for that came in early to me. It's like, Matt, you got to check out the Colburn Bible. And I was like, okay. But
the Colburn then? Not many people come across the Colburn Bible.
Well, in my field, I've got to know about everything. A little bit of everything. So, especially with I'm not religious.
I know everything. That's right. Then.
I've read the book of Thomas. I've read the book of Enoch. I've read the book of Genesis.
Yeah.
All these books, but I ain't even slightly.
Well, you can probably see on my shoulder there that the big brown book is the Gnostic Bible. There's the Gnostic Bible. And there's the Gnostic Gospels, and I got the Colburn.
Well, I'm a mystic. The ancient Christian mystics. I'm a mystic. I'm a shaman. And I'm all those things that they are. Yes. Right. I'm going to change my hat. Yeah.
We're going to change again now. I've only got one hat.
Yeah. No, I was going to have a pile of them. So I was going to do
what I do. I got a tip off next. Takes all mine out by the front door where they should be.
I've got about 25 hats. I play sometimes when I do a flat days. I change my hat every time I do something. Come back on the screen. I got another hat on, and I ask them count my hats. See if I get it right.
Okay. Well, I've got the world's biggest head, and I've got corners on it. Heading footballs, I was fantastic. It's like just like that. Really heavy, big head with a flat bit on the front. Bang, they went like bullets. Problem is, there's no hat big enough for me. This is like XXL to 2XL. The little label in there says 2XL. And then I've had to put the shoe stretchers in it to get it bigger and bigger and bigger. And I slightly overdid it. So sadly, this one kind of sits on my head a little bit like this now. So I've got the world's biggest hat on the world's biggest head, man. And it's just like it's like walking around with a bucket.
We look like a couple of Welsh cowboys.
Yeah. Oh, I also just put my hat on as well. Well done, Mandy. Yeah, well, everyone hats on everyone. You're underdressed without a hat, okay?
Right, let's have a look at a few of you. Oh, we got gold color. Thanks, man. There's any questions for Ross while he's here? I'm guessing we're going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. Are we, Ross?
Yeah, almost 10. Wow.
2.5 hours again. But you will come back, won't you? Maybe make it a little bit.
Oh, I'd love to. Frequent. Yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm learning so much as well. I didn't know any of this stuff.
Well, I got so much
about the mud things, but I didn't know much about it. We need to trade some books, and I'll come and get some books off you as well.
Mate, you can help yourself. I got a good antique atlas collection. I got so many fantastic.
Oh, and I'll buy the ones you've written as well. I'm interested in that. I want to hear more about this.
Oh, mate, honestly, you'd absolutely love it. The content is exactly up your street. The first one was a little bit too advanced, and it sort of didn't do that.
You went a bit too deep, did you? You had to bring people back a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it would the only people that would really dig it would be academia anyway, and they wouldn't dig it because they'd be spitting on the
Because they're
floor
done
and
anyway,
thinking,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
just done myself out of all of them years of
Yeah, well, I think we had this. This is very much the situation that Wilson and Blackett had because
exactly. They was doing them all out. They just usually, I noticed in archaeology, if you found anything there wasn't, something you couldn't explain and something, it was disappeared in an instant. And so you got to keep everything in this box of this strict way of how the classical world worked and the whole historical. It's like nothing must be discovered. No new information.
It's bizarre, isn't it? But we
It's
have the same dilemma because still the same problem we have now, really. But luckily for me, Wilson and Blackett have done the hard work because if you pitch it in too academic, people get lost. Some of the Wilson Blackett books are really big books, and they're I'm not saying they're a tough read. They're very exciting and writers to read, but it's a lot to take in, and it's not much help. A lot of my channel is explaining the books in many ways. I should do more of that. Actually, I've been neglecting my Wilson and Blackett lately. But the problem was if they came in the other way and just went, hey, look what we found, and just did it like a nice, easy to read story. There's always no academic rigor. There's no where's your references, where's your indexes, it's not written in a proper academic style. But what Wilson and Blackett tried to do was write it really an academic level, very clever.
Well, you have to. Be credible and take seriously.
But the academics won't read the books anyway.
Well, that's it, because they feel insulted. But
so a lot of me now is thinking, well, I don't think we're going to. Sorry, Newcastle question. We're not going to win over those academics anyway. They're going to read the books anyway. Just pitch it at a level people can enjoy. But people are not stupid. Just because people don't know a subject doesn't mean say they don't know anything. Doesn't mean say they're stupid. You can make an intelligent book and explain it like normal people talk. And not aim so much at trying to be an academic book, which quite often is baffling with bullshit, isn't it? It's a difficult balance.
That's where I went wrong with the first one. Exactly.
Well, Wilson Blackett, their first couple of books, they went in too high, I think. Same as you got, but they got this. What we got Wilson and Blackett. I mean, probably the same with yours. You now got this bedrock of some solid academic work, and now it's easy for me to go in with smaller books. I can drop them in and make them more interesting for people.
Yeah, it's all been a learning curve. I'll get better and better.
I don't think there is a right answer, because if you hadn't pitched in at such a high level, you wouldn't have got the credibility for your future books. It's a difficult one. So it was a question about Newcastle. Yes, I am going to go up and see. Hang on, the two Hanties were mentioned on the Wall of Hades. I don't know about that one. Sorry. Academic support. I quite liked Planck's rather depressing quote from about 100 years ago. You see that? He said, my experience is that academics never change their mind. You have to wait for the old generation to die off and a new, better informed generation to come through and replace them.
Max Planck.
Max Planck, yeah. That was one of his quotes.
No, I'm not impressed with what his conclusions about reality. I don't think there's anything done on the Planck level, no matter what.
I did like that quote. But also, I spent like yourself. I spent quite a bit of time studying
quantum
that
mechanics.
era. Yeah. And that was my field for a while, physics and everything.
Same. I was crazy for the thing. It's just the most fascinating subject.
But one of the things that's worth discussing from that period is the discussions between people like Planck and Einstein and people like that. They were throwing out ideas a lot of the time. It's the academic. I don't think Planck was saying this is it. He was putting out ideas.
No. I think he was more broad thinking than say Bohr or Einstein. Yeah.
And the problem is, I think even with Einstein, I don't think he expected all of it to be taken as some sort of gospel. Not to be questioned or changed. The problem is our modern academics have kind of put them on this pedestal where you can't challenge their work. Well, if you look at what was happening at the time, they were constantly challenging each other.
Yeah, there was different interpretations of quantum mechanics. There was the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics checked out there. There was different interpretations at the same time.
And they have long heated arguments and exchanging letters, and you can read this stuff. You can actually get hold of it and read it.
Yeah.
And it's not as dull and dry as it sounds. The letters exchanges are quite good, actually. They're really clever. But if you can't do that in the modern world, at some point, academia reached a point and said, that's it. No more controversies, no more discussions. This is how it is, and this is how it stays,
It's like the Truman Show. Sorry, Truman. All of the world's already been discovered.
It's all been done. Yeah.
It's all been done.
You can't question physics either. Physics is as bad as history. All the exciting stuff is happening outside the universities. It's bonkers. You know,
Oh, I'm more into
Yeah.
like the real world and natural science. You know, what we can explain and what we know is happening, and they're not doing that.
no, they left that.
Theories are not reality.
Mathematical models is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, basing a reality on that.
Absolute mathematical
Thanks, Tom.
models. That's when I really switched off from my degree and everything. Was started looking at how the modeling worked, because I was at the LSE and a lot of the stuff they use these days for social programming and all that was really starting to come in when I was there.
I
I
bet.
could see it happening and I could see how it worked. And you're like, this is nothing to do with reality. You know, I was supposed to have a maths and management science is my official degree from the maths and stats department. But for management, they didn't teach me anything about how to deal with people or how to run a company. None of that was in there. It was all this theoretical graphs and bizarre, really weird mathematical modeling
Yeah,
stuff.
I think you probably got to be autistic. You know, all these new millennium autistics, JHAB victims, when they're men in the next 20 years or women, yeah, they're the next CEOs and managers because they're going to be naturally without empathy. Yeah, they're going to be mathematically and these graphs and models inclined.
They love
They
all
want
that,
them
yeah.
like that. And
So it gives you a straight answer, doesn't it? Even if it's bullshit, you got a number. You got a number.
Yeah. So they can just, sack people without emotion and just treat these
But it's going
figures.
to all walks of life, isn't it? I remember my poor old mum a couple of years ago. We were trying to get her discharged from hospital because she's lying there. You know, it's a sad story. They weren't doing anything for her. She had to come home, right? She couldn't move or anything. Extreme senility, all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
But you had to fill in this questionnaire. So you had to score all these things on 1 to 5, and the score would decide the score whether or not she could get discharged. I was saying, God, this is the bullshit. This is sort of bullshit number modeling I was taught, back when I was in university.
Bureaucracy, nuts, yeah.
Because the first question, one of the questions was there, does your mother need help walking or whatever? Well, she hasn't moved from her bed for months. She walked into the hospital, but she never walked again. You know, it's like these things.
Yeah.
And well, she don't walk at all. It's like, well, you got to put a number in. Would she need help going up the stairs? Does she need
no, not one of them.
Yeah, and I'm
From
like,
a
well, she
1
doesn't
to
walk at all.
5, can she stand up, sit
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
Way.
But the
So none
worst
of it's
question,
applicable. Yeah.
and my father's there. My father's getting old, and he couldn't understand the jargon and everything, and he was completely confused. And the next question was, what is the chances of your mother tripping?
Well, I don't know. It depends how much acid she takes.
yeah. She should be so lucky. Falling, I should say. Yeah, what was the chance of her falling? And I said, well, the chance of her falling is 0. Because she never leaves the bed. How can she fall?
Exactly.
Well, we can't put 0 in because obviously she's not very good on her feet. 0 means she's.
You got to lie then. You got to do maybe a 1 in case she rolls out in the night.
And my dad's looking at me like, what the hell are they on about? Because he's like from a different generation where they spoke in real world.
Yeah.
You'd talk to the specialist or the doctor and you'd say, well, you could cope with your mum coming home. And it's like, well, we'll manage somehow, we'll protect her and look after her and everything. Do you need any help? That's how conversations used to go, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it did.
But this was like a 3-hour assessment, and you end up with a score out of whatever, and that decides on whether you got to get a free handrail or something. It was just bizarre, really, really weird. But I use that as an example because anyone can see how stupid that is.
Yeah.
But that same tyranny of numbers goes on in all walks of life. How everything's decided is just a tyranny of numbers. You watch the news; it's just a tyranny of numbers. Like I said, there's no compassion or humanity or common sense or intelligence.
No, the bureaucracy is ridiculous.
The number.
I'd never been able to stand it. I used to be able, when I was caught in them loops of ridiculousness, I used to say, "Can you just pretend?"
Loops of ridiculousness.
Can you just pretend that I did it? It works sometimes. Yeah, this is a good mentality. Can you just pretend that I did that? It's worked in the past.
Got out of all that nonsense anyway.
So we got. Do you want to do?
I definitely ruined this hat by stretching it. I've ruined it. Look at that. I've creased it there and everything. Look.
Yeah, no, that's meant to be there, man. Mine fits.
No, that's not the cool crease. This is like the battered it. This bit here with the stretches. Well, no, you have the same thing. Oh, that's okay. That's cool. Is it? All right. Okay. See, I need lessons in cool. I've never done cool really.
What's that? Did Ross refer to the 2-year Hans?
Yeah, I saw that comment. No, I don't think so. I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
No, you lost me a bit there. Perhaps you have another go and explain what the question is. I'm sorry, I can't help on that one.
So yeah, I got a good vlog coming for the weekend on Flat I've been working on. I've been looking into the brain, into the human brain, and some aspects of that people may have overlooked. I think they need reminding of. Awesome. They just hijacked a society in my eyes, and they've hijacked consciousness as well. Is what I think they've done. You know, everyone just thinking rubbish told to them by bad people and just concentrating on it and creating it through thought form. And it just, people get to understand how this place works, and everything's just going to be healed overnight. But they're going to have to all find their vibration first. People are still tied into the greed thing. I've noticed, seen it today. Crazy people just want to grab onto that little bit of what exactly? Just it's just superficial rubbish. You can't take it with you. None of it. You know, make your life, you know, worth living, because that's not in my eyes for none of them. So thanks everybody for coming. We are like 694. We are going out on Facebook. We're going out on the Celtic Tartarian channel. That's one of my channels as well, if you haven't seen that.
I have to look into this Tartarian stuff because I've got
it's
I've
a
read
1,000
loads of
videos on there.
I'm really interested in the chronologies and the histories and all that. But I didn't get into the Tartaria because they talk a lot about that as well, don't they? I don't know if it's a similar model.
Yeah, well, the idea
I'd
is...
rather read your book anyway. I get your book on it.
Yeah, well, the idea is with Tartaria, you know, it was the biggest civilization, not the British Empire that ever was. And, you know, some of the old maps show us, you know, a lot of a lot of Asia is predominantly Tartaria. Some of the documents we found that they were an advanced civilization. They used alchemy, good alchemy, not the bad one. And they were just like a magical society. And we think that it was more than just in Asia. We think that there was, like there is now, just one world government in the background running all the countries. Now we know that's a definite after what's just happened. But in the past, there was just one architect, one way of living, small communities, self-governing communities, golden era. We think it was like that, unhampered by kings and queens. Because what kind of retardation is needed that people give their power over to a small group of bullies in the first place to do what they want with us? You know, a monarchy, you know, hang on a minute, what one family that's better than us? And now we have to sacrifice our entire existence, our entire, you know, ancestry line to them forever.
You stole or bullied their way into getting it a few generations ago.
Yeah. Or just bullies, and you know, it's gangsterism, all of it, if you ask me. You know, with all of them, the Nazis they were just gangsters, weren't they? You know, they just took over. So, you know, I think that, you know, there was a time without that for sure, you know, when we were a lot smarter than we are now. This dumbing down through, obviously, the retarded educational curriculum. You know what? You know, in 1700s, you want to see the stuff they were learning. They were learning people 369, for example, stuff like that sort of depth of science. To just everybody, you know, back then it was just like incredible level of intelligence the people had, the creative writing of the people 100 years ago compared to now.
Well, I had a shock. I got I like collecting old books as well, not so antique books you go for, but I've got from 1930s or something.
Cool.
I'm trying to collect most of the series of the children's classics, they're called.
Right.
And A Tale of Two Cities is in there.
Wow.
Charles Dickens. As children's classic. I read the first few pages and I'm like, this ain't easy to read, you know.
I've read it. It's about Paris and London. It's a fantastic.
Yeah, it was the best of times, it's the worst of times, and all that stuff. Yeah, but I mean, that's a hard book, but that's in a children's collection going back 100 years.
Oh, I love them, and Great Expectations. Oh, any Dickens is absolutely fantastic. Bleak House is a goodie, and that is a bleak book to read. That's so sad. Bleak House is like, am I going to turn another page here? So let's have a look who's here. So thank you, India.
Let's say to Benny Babbles. Sorry, just say hello to Benny Babbles. We're going to meet him tomorrow. He's asking you on his show there. He's got a radio show. So there we are. I'll have a chat with Benny tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll let you know all about Benny. I can't
find that comment.
What's it, Benny? Benny Babbles.
Oh, hi, Benny Babbles. Yeah,
Benny's great. Benny's great, yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, we got a few of your peeps. I know Elliot. There's India, my friend. Does my websitey things and helps me with all sorts of dilemmas because I'm pretty much hopeless at most things.
You all feel like that, don't we?
I just manage. I do. They're all good people, so it doesn't matter really. Just the effort that counts in it, guys. No, they say God loves a trier. Maybe. I don't know. Depends what God you're talking about. Not the nasty psychopathic gaslighting one. I'm not keen on that one at all. He's beating everyone up.
Two comments to answer for. Someone
Cool.
mentioned it can't happen here. Is that a film or something? That sounds interesting.
Can't
It
happen
says when
here.
it was when an American president takes over complete control of. It reminds me of another film. There's another film which had Kirk Douglas. Remember that one?
Saturn
When they have
V.
the what?
Saturn V with.
Oh no, that's a great film. Saturn V. I love that one. With the whole moon
brilliant
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It's Kirk Douglas. He's not the president. There's a coup basically taking place. It's one of those films you can't believe it got made. And it shows they do a coup. They get the president out the way and they move him off to somewhere else. And
Not
the
all the
army
president's men.
It could be it, yeah.
Yeah, that's with Robert Redford in it as well. All the president's men.
No,
It's a cracking
before him.
film.
That might have been a remake, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe.
I went back to the 1940s black and white one. They're all in their sharp suits looking good.
So they've done a coup in the American.
Yeah, it shows how it could be done. It was very easily done how it happened. He just sort of shoved him out the way a bit. Yeah,
Hope you're watching this, Donald.
Yeah. And what I was referring to, I think someone's asked to clarify that word. It was Giantes, if you want to look them up. Geantes. And they're supposed to be the tribe who came and migrated to Britain, and Giantes might be a mistranslation for giants.
Oh.
Not that I'm saying there's no giants, but the Giantes and giants, or maybe the Giantes meant they were giants and they were the people who migrated. You could look at it either way, couldn't you? But that's what they were called, Giantes. So I think that's what the question was about.
Dr. Strange will have somebody's on about there. Yeah,
classic.
Kubrick's film. Yeah, the one with
that's the guy, like the scientist, trying to keep his arm down all the time.
Yeah, he's fighting his arm, doesn't he? Yeah, Peter Sellers.
Get down. My arm's nicht.
Brilliant. I read the book by Peter Sellers' son called P.S. I Love You, Peter Sellers' son, and it was a horrendous book. Deplorable behavior by Peter Sellers as a father.
Yeah, he did some really weird stuff with Sophie Loren, didn't he? He made her life miserable, didn't he? Wasn't he trying to constantly pester her and everything?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, this weird fixation with Sophia Loren, didn't he?
Right.
He used to follow all around the world and everything.
Oh, I don't know.
No, he's a full-on nutter, Peter Sellers. Made great films, but I'm not sure he's the kind of bloke you want to have round for a pint.
No. I thought he was proper Inspector Clouseau. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it's a long time to say goodbye. It'll be 11 o'clock now, look, isn't it? I'll go have a
I
pint
know.
before
Okay,
the punch
so she's just saying hippie shake. She comes in she's a friend of mine. She's a Welsh chick from Tenby.
Tenby.
Yeah, you know you get to Tenby, don't you?
Yeah, you said last 6, 7, B8, B9, B10, yeah. I got that from you. Sorry, Martin. No, I don't know. How'd you get to Tenby, mate?
And I'll play it. All right, how'd you get to...
You tell me. Go on.
No, I'm not doing any more jokes. I'm just.
No, go on.
No, my jokes are rubbish anyway. It doesn't matter.
I like daddy jokes.
How'd you get 2 whales in a mini?
No, how'd you get 2 whales in a mini, Martin?
Over the Severn Bridge, innit?
Hey. What I do for my sons today, and I knew that's not a new joke at all, but I knew for them. I say, why couldn't the sailor or the airman drive the car? Because the soldier had the car keys.
I don't know. Maybe it was funny.
I did a whole 3 nights. That was the poor man's Michael McIntyre. I don't look so much like him now, but I used to look a bit like him.
Michael McIntyre is funny.
Yeah, that was the difference. Yeah, I died, man. It was awful. I died the first night and I had to do 2 more nights. It was just horrendous.
I've done comedy. I've done like sort of stand-up and stuff. I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I had the shiny shirt on and the microphone and the audience. I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite funny, but unfortunately, not many of the audience agreed.
Well, don't worry. I think it's all right. If you've got something to fall, if the history field should fall through, we could always turn to comedy.
Oh man, if I had to live on that, I tell you.
Tommy Cooper did it. He was completely shit, paralytic, drunk.
Local boy, yeah. Completely boy.
Yeah, he just
don't give up your day job, Ross. I totally agree, Vertek. Yeah, if I had to rely on my guitar or my jokes, I really would be on the streets.
Vertek's awesome. I met him as well up in Speaker's Corner once in Hyde Park.
Right.
My friend, he's from up in London.
You met who, sorry?
He's from London. He's up in London. Vertek.
Oh, well, someone on the groups, on the comment, right? Okay, yes, right.
Yeah. You find him. He's a moderator in like some really big channels. You find him turning up everywhere. really big news channels. Flo, she's lovely. Met her too. Well, I met most of these people because I had a big flat earth meet. I'm going to get a convention going. I can do it. I'm going to, just get this weirdness of let the dust settle, because they're going to throw a weird one on us in a minute, and I know they are.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm worried about. We should do it though. Definitely, I want to do one as well. I'll come to yours.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah, the last one was fantastic.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, packed the house
300 people plus. It was rammed up, but I can, I got the help, I got the team, I can get the place. I can do it basically all of it, and I can get all the people, and you can do alternative history, and I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think we do it all together. Yeah, it'd be great. So I'm also in the process. Yeah, I'd love to come along. And
wicked.
Another show I'm looking to do, which might maybe start doing it in Brecon on one occasion, is just chatting about doing King Arthur the musical. And I don't know what happened the other night. I had a bit of inspiration. I've written an 8-scene play now. It's all kind of done. Boom.
Listen, you get moments like that, get it on, man. Because
I've just stay up almost all night.
The universe just drives you, and it's like you just get on this thing. You're not even thinking about it. It's when you auto do it. It's when you come out with the real juice, the real, genius.
And it had a structure to it, and it's got a couple of twists to the tail, and the loops back, and all that. And I'm like, yeah, great. Just leave it as it is. Do it,
and then present it.
Then just do it. Yeah,
don't tweak it. Leave it as it is now. Just
leave it. Yeah, that's trouble. I didn't.
Yeah, instead of thinking about it and thinking that'd be a bit better if I change that.
Yeah, and then you get into a mess then, because it's got a flow now. I don't want to mess it.
So I want to do that
fairly soon. I think we have to do all these things. There's no time ever like right now for just do it. Anything you want to do, just do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Put it off, you might not get another chance.
Well, I'm not waiting until spring because I want to do stuff, and I want I don't want people just come in like static, not doing anything, nothing to look forward to with all this craziness going down, especially my community. So yeah, I need some juice happening. So something
you don't be sitting around. Yeah, if we do get locked down or whatever, and it's the case of wish I'd done that, and don't know when we'll get a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're definitely going along them lines. You can see they're doing it again. I just know they are. I could see that today, the fear on people's face. I don't watch the news, but they're scaring them enough. I can see it.
It must be. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even hardly been in the house.
Have you seen, this Omnicom? It's like an anagram.
Not really. No, I try to avoid.
It's an anagram of moronic, right?
It's I like that. That's the best part about it.
It's the new Scariant, right? There's a 1963, I think it is, film, a science fiction film that was come out with the same name as the new variant. And it's about a bug or something that gets in some guy's head in order to take over the world. What? It's like, and it's the same name as the new, and what it does. It's just like, what? An alien gets in you to take over the world in this film, and it's called the same name. Who thinks these names up? And they think people ain't going to Google it or work out an anagram within 1 second looking at it.
Yeah.
It's like,
you got it already, haven't you? You got it already. I like the word scariant. The other one I like is salient. Instead of a variant, it's a salient.
That's good. may I use that?
Oh yeah, far away, salient.
So it's been an epic buzz tonight. Honestly, God, we need to do this more often, Ross, because the information's fucking awesome and the buzz is awesome. It's just been really up there all night. It's been fab, both of us. So
I get some more fun stuff ready, because there's a bit of pressure on you today. You got to carry the
load. I got loads. I could go on talking for hours and hours and hours. I really could.
It's fantastic. I love it. And I get the books as well.
The weeknight. So make sure to get Ross's books on basically the link below. You can find his channel. If you just look below, you can find his channel.
Is that your book? Yeah.
That's my latest book, The Holy Grail, The Great Reset. Which is aptly named. The only one, Klaus Schwab got one called The Great Reset. So maybe you just get jealous and buy up 50,000 copies, hoping no one will see you.
yeah. Right, buy the lot, innit? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
here's £1 million, Martin. Take this off the shelves.
I wrote that before any reset. And the first book, I talked about reset of civilization. All of this going down before it all happened, and I know before it happened. That was released 2 months before they locked us in on a match.
Brilliant, yeah. No, I'm going to read that.
They don't. Oh no, actually, no. I got the Rona in there. No, that was my first book. Yeah, the ones Rona's included in that. So, thank you everybody for coming. Brilliant book, says Hippie Shake. She sent a photograph in it. I got to see her fingernails. It was very lovely. Thank you for that. Oh, thanks, guys. We've had an awesome night here. Just sub to Ross. Thank
All
you,
right, I'll do that.
Matt.
I'm like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, level thumbs. What do you say? You don't say level.
I go
thumbs.
like that, flat thumbs.
Flat thumbs.
Yeah,
not level
basically,
thumbs.
because that is like Roman. That is Roman, and they do this in like sort of some communities. Well, that's a Masonic thing. So I'm doing like.
Cool.
I can't find any trouble with the flat thumbage yet.
Especially two of them. I like that.
Well, it's double flat thumbs with bells
Double
on.
flat
You can
thumbs,
increase
yeah.
it. Double
High
flat
vibrations,
thumbs
yeah, high vibrations.
Yes, it's a vibrational thing. Are you calling me Fatty Martin, artist of Elon? Do you want to get blocked?
I just want to say as well, it's really important that comment there about keeping the vibrations up. We really got to spend time together and meet in the physical world as well. You know, meet up and
that was what I thought.
Get-togethers, and we have to do it because it's a real feeling of being alone sometimes. You know, because it's the vast majority, unfortunately, are not picking up on what's happening, and it just good for your energy and your vibes. It's like the people I tend to mix with.
Down for ages after you met crowds of like-minded people. You're
it's
just
wonderful,
on a
isn't it?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
You know, I'm lucky in my research because the group I work with in the Hidden History, Britain's Hidden History group, the real world's like a million miles away. You know, I have a real shock if I go into a shop or something and suddenly see somewhere in a mask. I'm like, oh God, I've forgotten about that. I thought it was some dream I had years ago.
Yeah,
it's gone away
for a minute. Yeah, it was like exactly the same for me.
You meet some druid, living on his own, almost 80 years old, amazing health, bounding up and down hills and everything.
He was nearly 80, was he?
Yeah. He's weird in his 70s, yeah. And he's bounding up hills barefoot. You know, he did a 1,000-mile thing a few years ago.
Wow.
And sleeps out on mountains under his tent, you know, luring people in to have dreams with him like me.
Wow. And he's a dream interpreter. Oh, I had listen to this, right? I had a dream yesterday, right before I woke up. I bought a pair of black trousers. Goes out with my son. He says, I'm going to pop in this shop a minute. And he goes straight out and buys a pair of black trousers. I was like, that's weird. I dreamt I bought a pair of black trousers.
That is weird. Too many things are happening at the moment, isn't it? Everything's just synchronous at the moment.
Yeah. My dreams have been crazy, though. Do you know they've been the best day I've been since I was a kid, for some reason.
Yeah, I think I heard you said the other day. Yeah, it's good to hear.
It's fantastic.
I hardly remember mine. I just want to go up in the hills. I don't know what happens to my dreams. I seem to so knackered by the time I go to bed. I just don't I don't know.
You dream, you just don't remember. You got to
exactly. You must dream. Everyone dreams. Yeah, I just need to have better
instruct yourself. Build a construct, something you can remember. Yeah, and then just go there. And then with them dreams, if you're creating the construct, you'll start it, you'll remember it. I can guarantee you that. I can go wake up, and then go back to sleep and go back to the same dream. And it would be lucid because I can be awake as well. And I can fly.
I'd like to know how to do that because I get the tail end of dreams, but I can't grasp them very well. I don't know why.
No, the universe won't let you unless you're ready. It's the same with an informational download. You know, one day, you know, when everybody's ready, they're all going to find out what's going on, you know, here. But they have to be like spiritually aligned and, you know, intellectually be an ability to accept it. I think it's the same with like everything in this realm. You know, the universe is like a caring lady. Yeah. And she's like, especially with lucid dreaming, because that can scare the shit out of you, you know, and it's like with astral projection, it's much the same. The universe is not going to let you do that unless you're really accomplished spiritually. Yeah. So with lucid dreaming, to wake up in your dream, okay, it's not that easy. It's a mechanism. You got to find something in the dream, a marker that you will see. You'll recognize you're in a dream. Oh shit, I'm dreaming. Now I can wake up because you will know you're dreaming and you'll wake up in the dream.
So I have a feeling I had apparently quite a lot of nightmares when I was little. I don't know why. I had a very happy childhood. But for some reason, I had a lot of nightmares. And I think I might have, I know this is going to sound a bit weird now, some sort of dream world trauma, if you like, which blocks it to me. Because I don't really call dreams at all, hardly ever, anything. Well, generally, I'm quite spiritually awakened. Generally, it's a strange thing.
Well, I think you're doing that. I think you're creating a block. I think you're more psychic than you can cope with, and I think
it could be that. Yeah, I don't know why the block is there, but I do.
Well, maybe if you had sleep paralysis. Did you have that?
Oh, I don't think so.
Where I used to suffer with
stop breathing, arachnid, whatever it is.
No. I used to be screaming with no noise coming out, more petrified than you can ever imagine. Stuck in my body, unable to move. My body is paralyzed. I am petrified. I am screaming. No noise is coming out. Every night when I'm trying to go asleep. Other versions of it, I would literally be on fire with flames and burning in pain while I was trying to go to sleep.
Wow.
I teached myself to wake myself up by banging my head on a wall or slapping myself like that to wake myself out of that hell that I would be stuck in for seemingly an eternity. But it was only seconds, you know, while I'm going to sleep. It was just the worst. It ended with
No, I used to
me in a
sleepwalk
wheelchair.
stuff when I was a kid. I used to wander off. They'd find me at the front door, halfway down the road, everything.
That's sleepwalking.
Yeah, proper sleepwalking, like out the front door, down the road, the lot, like, you know. Not
No
anymore.
way.
Not since I was a kid. Yeah, I was proper. My whole parents hardly slept properly for years. Yeah.
I think I was right the first time. I think that's you doing that. Sure,
Yeah, I've
reality.
always blocked it since. Yeah, to stop me doing all those things. I don't know how to reawaken it, but
well, I'm open to it, you know. But you know,
no, I'm open. I like to be open to it now, but I think something younger stopped me being open. You know, in the subconscious level somewhere.
Yeah.
There we are.
Well,
Anyway, on to the weird stuff. I need to work on it.
Nothing's weird on Flat Earth British. Don't worry about that.
I'm good. I got loads more weird stuff.
Talk about everything.
You haven't seen half of what we've done yet. You're going to be really, well, you won't be whizzed out on this channel, but I'll bring some more fun stuff next week.
Or
a couple of weeks. Never meet next anyway.
All right, then we'll look forward to that. So we got 600
me too,
people
man. It's fun. I keep reading the comments scrolling up as well. It's fascinating.
Yeah, they're all really cool. Yeah, we got Bandana. She's a lovely Indian lady. We love her. And this Benny Babbles podcast.
Yes. Oh, Ross can help with my dreaming. There we go. Well, I'm seeing Benny tomorrow, so there we are.
Oh, there you are then.
There
I sounded right Welsh then, didn't I? There you are then. So they all love the Welshness. So good. Because he's absolutely fantastic. We love being Welsh. That's one thing we love.
Shall I put my Aberdeen accent back on when I come next week, shall I? I talk proper valleys like that. Put my Ponty voice on.
Yeah,
but let's do some history, shall we?
God, don't worry about that too much.
It's been knocked out to me over the years. There you go. It's difficult to do now.
Do what, but?
You what, but?
No, we don't do that in Cardiff. It's mate in Cardiff.
Well, what they used to call the Valley Boys. I used to have a friend. I miss him so much. They used to back in he's really old. It's back in the 30s and 40s when the Valley Boys used to go down. They used to call them the Iron-Butts.
I don't know that one.
Iron-Butts. Well, where I am, if you say hello, you don't say hello. You say, oh, Iron-Butt. That's how you say. Aya is hello.
My mate Matthew said
the ancient Babylonian god Aya, by the way, but that's another story. But anyway, Aya-Butt is how you say hello. So the Cardiff used to call the Valley Boys Iron-Butts.
Iron-Butts.
Oh, the Iron-Butts are coming down next week.
Oh, that's before my time. No.
Before your time, yeah.
Yeah, we call you like woolly backs.
Woolly backs, that's the West Walian side. That's not us, though, is it? That's the West Walian. The Gogs up north. Well, the Gogs up north. And the Gogs...
What do you call people from the Diff, then?
From where?
From Cardiff.
From the Diff? Yeah, I don't know, really. Yeah, there's no polite words I can think of.
Welsh Cockneys or Welsh Scousers.
Yeah, the city boys, isn't it? But last night they were saying, when I was with the Druid up north, he was saying that they call the Southerners Shemais. Because they don't say Shemai, apparently, because Shemai is how are you in Welsh. When you meet
why do they call the Sarsen stones when Sarsens is a Scottish derogatory term for the English?
Is it?
Like the Sarsens is a the Sarsens.
The same word, is it? They have Sais, don't they? Sais is the...
Oh, Souse.
Sassenach. And Sassenach is the Scottish, isn't it?
Yeah, Sassenach, Souse.
The Saxons, and we call them Sais, don't we? I don't know. I need to find more about the Sarsens. The world expert is Robin Heath, who I did spend a bit of time with and filmed a visit. Where I was starting to tell you earlier, he's the guy who, in the same ways they worked out where the original Stonehenge was, he's worked out where the original Avery ring was. And
I want to go to Avery. Yeah.
Well, the original site's in West Wales. And then you can see us with tape measures and everything. We work out, it's like, 47.5 inches diameter and at radius and how many stones and where they all are. And it's a replica of Avery, yeah. So that's a good video. So I'm hoping to see Mr. Heath again soon and we'll record more stuff.
Yeah.
It's the kind of silly things we do on Britain's History.
We goes out and films. We've done this week. We've done a bit of filming. We goes out.
It's like walking around. You get some exercise, Martin. That's good to hear. Huh?
This is what you got to do. You got to get out and see this stuff on the ground. You've
got to be real people, walk around, get tired.
Yeah, it's not that. I know books are beautiful and lovely and words and that, but they're written by other people. I like to see these things with my own eyes and experience these
Well, I
things
think
myself.
we're talking about spirit and raising 5 frequencies out in the countryside, looking at things and using your brain, trying to think, talk to intelligent people, have a laugh.
Yeah.
When I did that, my first real go at the dowsing, I was so freaked out. We should have kept the camera running because the other people I was with was laughing. It was lovely. It wasn't a cruel laugh.
Yeah, just laughing at you.
It was a whole body happy laugh, how funny it all was. I was laughing. Yeah, literally. Yeah, and all
I would have been as well.
Rolling around for about 10 minutes. And whoa, the boost you get for your spirit,
100%.
And don't stick a telly on, don't stick the radio on, just don't do it. Just live in your own higher dimension.
Look how down they are. They're just sitting there, shut off, watching that crap, and it's just like all the information's being fed to them. They're not living their lives, are they? It's just
no. I mean, I came all the way down from North Wales without putting the radio on because I tried it. I have this game I play. Wherever I put, say, Radio 4 or Beeb, whatever it is, on because it's only my dad's old car, so we got FM, so there's not many choices. And I have a game. I put Radio 4, and I could try and work out how long it'll be before some sort of propaganda message is thrown in my face, and a negative one. And bizarrely, right, I've been doing this for a few weeks now. It's about 10 seconds, not minutes. Try it. Just hit the
all right.
Hit the Radio 4 button, and it's like off. It's ridiculous.
You need the J-Hab. We're coming to get your children, etc., etc.
Oh, it's always something, like it's obviously it's all about variant and blah 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 and salience and things. I was just like, all right, okay, well, you stop. Yeah, show me the gold. You were quite right, Gary Taylor. I wanted you to ask, show me the gold. Yeah, why didn't I do that? I got to go out. I'm going to be doing that from now on, Gary. Me and you, mate. You bring a spade, I'll bring me dowsing rods, all right?
Gary Anderson, is it?
See these Pentra Bay boys, they worked it out like, mate, didn't they? Hey, what's that? You can find stuff. I tell you what, mate, bring it out here. We'll find some gold. We'll be rich, we'll be like rich as robbers. We'll be like bandits.
We'll film Camelot. We'll reenact it for you. We'll have like little shells of coconuts, and we'll go.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Braves to Robin, all that.
Braves to Robin to Robin to Robin.
No, mine's gonna be a serious
answer. Okay?
It's gonna be serious. But damn it, if I see anyone laughing, I'll be flogging them within an inch of their life. I'm sure there'll be a bit of humour in it. But,
oh, a fab night. Thanks,
right,
Ross. So much.
Go, 11 o'clock. Good grief.
Yeah, I know. 3 hours. They go so quick. It's like half an hour.
Bizarre,
an mental. Oh, thanks all the Flat Earth British Think Tank and all Ross's peeps. Make sure to sub to Ross as well. Okay, guys.
Oh, I got loads of subs to me. Thank you very much. My subs were up like 50%
you'll get a few more.
So thank you very much.
So hopefully. No, you deserve it, mate. Your work's fantastic. I'm very impressed. I love it all.
Thank you. I want to do level thumbs. You say flat thumbs. I'm going to say level thumbs. There you go.
Level's fine. A lot of people don't like using it with flat because, in fact, it doesn't cover it. Level is more accurate. So
there we go.
We'll go with that. No problem at all. So thanks, Matt Pyman. Thanks, Zalich, over in Aussie land. Gary Scarab, who goes to your chat feed. Brilliant. Thank you, Kat. It was a genius. Liz, get a lot of really smart people in my chat. Ross. It's incredible the stuff they bring to me. It's like.
Thank you for
how do you know this stuff? I'm like, but I'm always willing to learn. I thought about that today. I thought, I don't really know anything about anything. Really, can't really in this place verify anything, can we? But I'm open to learn. Is what
we're all learning. It's one journey. That's what life is. It's all about just learning all the way. Then we realize we know nothing.
Exactly. And that's the thing it should be. Yeah, I know. Oh, excuse me. So thanks so many of you, 500 not you. Make sure to share this show out if you would, please, and make sure to subscribe to Ross's channel. Go and check out his groovy stuff. He's on tomorrow night, isn't it? Sunday. Do you have your special show Sunday?
Sunday's a special show, but I think tomorrow's
it's not tomorrow, it's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's a Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah. Wishing your life away, Martin.
I thought it was a flat day. It was so exciting.
I am going to I have to work. Make sure I don't put stuff up at the same time as your things are running. I've got an old video of Wilson and Blackett from like the 80s or 90s. I'll be putting that up just as a live premiere, so people see it anytime they like. But we'll have the comments and have a chat while we're watching it. Was the idea?
Yeah, that's good.
There's nothing urgent as such to go up. No, I have nothing. This is the highlight of my week. Seeing you, Martin.
It's awesome, innit, flat with Britishness? Gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling in your belly. Good night, Fatty Martin. I hope this is not going to stick, Mandy. This was just for tonight, okay?
I did warn you when you put that up. I did
Oh,
tell you.
no. Fatty Martin fell down Fatty. I got the rest of that song. I'm not telling you. You can just start singing it to me.
Just drop the Martin bit.
Just... Don't do that to me. I'm in trouble now. Thanks, Campbell. Thanks, Dragon Sage. I see you over Ross's too. You're awesome, brother. Thank you all. Vividness. My brother. Ooh, Vertic. What a fantastic night on a Tuesday. Can't fault it. So we'll be back again, guys. Don't worry. The Welsh history detectives.
Yeah.
Okay, we even looked the part.
I'll bet you on a field trip with me as soon as you got such good hats. You can
Yeah,
come with
definitely.
Me,
yeah.
I'll get my nice hat on as well.
Well, you drive, obviously, don't you?
Yeah. I'll do the driving. Don't worry about that.
Awesome.
You can get as drunk as you like. It's okay.
Well, I don't drink much. I can have a couple of pints, but
that's just a joke. That's all.
I can't drink much. I guess I'm a lightweight. I guess drunk really, really easy.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I kind of miss those days.
I don't get paralytic drunk. I don't like the feeling, and I don't want to be ill. And I
find I go straight to hangover now. I sort of skip the fun bit in the middle. It just seems a bit pointless.
No, I enjoy a glass of wine. Something to eat. I got to soak it up.
Yeah, a glass of wine's fine, but getting drunk is no fun because I just feel like I'm straight to hangover. It doesn't feel, there's no fun drunk anymore.
We don't remember it, do you? It's not like it's pogoing round the disco anymore and stuff, is it?
Yeah, a bit of mashing, mate.
Mashing
down the front. Getting tumbling.
All right, thanks for wrap this up.
Yes, definitely good night for me now.
All right, thanks so much, Ross. We love you over here. You bring such a good energy. We all really, really enjoy it.
Oh, thank you. I love coming here. It does me the world of good.
Peeps, which is what we like. It's what we want. Higher vibration experiences.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So, flat thumbs. See you on the next one. Thanks, Ross.
Bye.
See you soon.